Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You know, there's a funny way this show goes, which is to say that I don't really plan what I'm going to say when the show opens. Really, at any part, I have thoughts and I say them, but you guys can vouch for this. I don't really have notes. I have a list here of clips that Brad and Ethan put together before the show, and I can look at those and I can kind of gauge what the topic is, but I don't really plan what I'm going to say. And yesterday, I didn't know this was going to happen. So I heard this along with you guys as it was taking place, but I went in hard on Jimmy Kimmel yesterday.
Yeah, we did a whole hour on it, basically.
I said to Jared, I go, I hesitate to go back and listen to it or watch what I said yesterday because I'm embarrassed of myself. I don't know. Yes.
What?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Why?
I don't want to watch me.
Oh, you just don't like watching yourself.
I don't want to listen to me.
I thought you were going to be embarrassed about something you said about Kimmel.
I don't think so. I go, I'm pretty sure I ended the segment with he should be ashamed of himself. We sure are. And then we just went to a break. And I didn't plan any of that. Like, I didn't know that Kimmel was going to get indefinitely suspended that evening. That the hammer would fall down on Kimmel. It almost felt like I planned that, and I certainly didn't. And also, is it important to say right now that he hasn't been fired? Mm-mm. He's indefinitely suspended. So, is he going to be back Monday? Is he going to be what's happening?
I don't think so. I don't think you say indefinitely suspended.
No, you'd say but if it was fired, you'd say fired.
Well, I think
relieved.
they probably have contracts, and they have to figure out, well, how do we get out of these contracts before we say he's fired?
The other thing here is that there were posts about Jimmy Kimmel being encouraged he was going to, that night, offer an apology, which didn't get the opportunity to air. Dude, you can, if you hold your phone up in front of your face and record an apology, and upload it exactly anywhere on the internet, it will be the most viewed video today. So please don't say, well, I was going to apologize, but he's I can use that voice, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't want to be accusatory. I'm like thinking about what I'm saying here.
No, it's a communist voice, and he's a communist.
Is he?
Yeah.
You know, the communists would probably limit free speech.
They do.
The YouTube poll for today is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech. I think that this is not going to be red versus blue in this poll. I think that there are some people who may be on the right side of the aisle who feel like this is a bridge too far. We're going to speak with Hans von Spakovsky in 10 minutes or so. And he's a lawyer. He was a Department of Justice lawyer, a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. The question is, was Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely suspended, and it's an infringement on his right to speak freely? ABC pulled him off the air. There was not a demand made on ABC. The FCC did not fire Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, he's actually not even fired at this point. So you can't say that the FCC put this on them. But the question you got to ask is Jimmy Kimmel free to speak and say what he wants and say what he believes? And you have to also remember at the same time that Jimmy Kimmel, who is an employee of ABC, yes, Disney, and I'm still available to be Disney's next DEI hire, a Christian, conservative, Midwestern, happily married, monogamous mother of four. You want to hire me because we're the type of people who I think will probably end up spending the most money on your products if you did them right.
And I am a furry and can play a mascot.
And he is my sidekick.
Oh, man.
By the way, I did listen to the Mark Reardon show a little bit after on my way home yesterday and got a lesson in furries. So check the Mark Reardon podcast for that.
Will do.
It was I was driving home and I stared at my radio the whole time I was driving. Like, Mark, man, what are you doing?
It was Sue talking about it too, wasn't she?
It was must listen to radio.
Yeah, I think I remember
check
that.
out the Mark Reardon podcast if you missed it. Here's Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman, who people are referring to as a radical.
Broadcasters are different than any other form of communication, including here. We're on cable right now. Fox News doesn't have an FCC license. CNN doesn't. But ABC, CBS, NBC, those broadcast stations do. And with that license comes a unique obligation to operate in the public interest. And over the years, the FCC walked away from enforcing that public interest obligation. I don't think we're better off as a country for it. But look, President Trump ran directly at these legacy broadcast outlets, and he exposed them to these market forces. And a lot of these affiliate groups said, to your point, we're tired of carrying this stuff. Late night shows, something's gone seriously awry there. They went from going for applause, from laugh lines to applause lines. They went from being court jesters that would make fun of everybody in power to being court clerics and enforcing a very narrow political ideology. And Nexstar, as you noted, stood up and said, look, we have the license and we don't want to run this anymore. We don't think it serves the interests of our community. Sinclair did the same thing. So there's more work to go, but I'm very glad to see that America's broadcasters are standing up to serve the interests of their community. We don't just have this progressive foie gras coming out from New York and Hollywood.
So Brendan Carr, there, the chairman of the FCC, making a distinction between ABC, which is over-the-air, publicly owned airwaves, broadcast television, where if you're on Fox News and it's cable television, you pay to acquire whatever it is that they're serving up there, and you can unsubscribe, you can cancel, you can yourself the consumption of that, because cable news functions under a different set of rules than the publicly owned airwaves do, like the ones I'm speaking on right now. Guess what? The airwaves I'm speaking on, you own them. I own them, but I don't own them any more than you own them either, because I'm a citizen and a taxpayer. So we are at a pivotal point right now in our nation's history, from where we've been to where we are going right now. And Jimmy Kimmel, this instance, fits right into the lane of the fork in the road, where we're going to have to choose one way or the other. And I believe that one direction absolutely leads to mutual destruction. We have to start peddling in the truth once again. Factual truth. That has to be the currency of news, of our communications. You cannot be living in a reality where Jimmy Kimmel can intentionally misinform his audience on Monday that it is obviously that the shooter of Charlie Kirk was a member of the MAGA gang. There is zero evidence that that is the case. There has been zero evidence that that is the case. We have known for quite some time that he was very much so radicalized on the left with whatever particular, social issues that he was interested, that he despised Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel had to do no work to understand that his statement was a patent lie. He goes onto the broadcast airwaves and he lies to the American people. Is that a problem? We need to get back to the place where employers determine that their shows, the platforms, the time slots that they fill, if you're going to have people who are going to go in front of the camera and mockingly lie to the American people about somebody who was assassinated for what obviously appears to be, let's just say this, certainly not a right-wing activist. Certainly not. There was never a moment in time. Brian, am I missing even the wink, the glimmer of time where there was a suggestion that maybe this was a right-winger?
So on the deep web, there were far left people who were saying that this guy was somehow associated with like Nick Fuentes and the super far crazy. I don't even know.
So
if
that's where you had to go to get to this.
That's where you had to go to get this.
So is that where Jimmy Kimmel lives?
I think so. I kid you not. I think that is where he got this. because Jameel Hill and a lot of these other rando journalists that are without jobs now too, they had to retract their statements because of this stuff.
They have a vested interest in that thing that you have to go to some deep, dark place that I have not seen in order to get somebody who says it so you can repeat it. They don't even have to prove anything to you. They just have to make the suggestion. And because it fits your worldview, the ends justify the means here. If the end result is besmirching of anybody who supports Donald Trump, in Jimmy Kimmel's mind, this still all comes back to Trump. That is a sickness. That is a mental unwellness that is problematic for the security of the future of this country because it's not rooted in anything that is real or true. You hate Donald Trump's policies on tariffs? Guess what? I have multiple people who come on this show on a Fox News radio affiliate here in St. Louis, Missouri on 97.1 FM Talk to talk about the economy, and they don't all compliment Donald Trump's tariff strategy. In fact, some have said it's not what I would do and I think he should change course. We have people who come on 97.1 within the conservative Republican movement. They're trying to move smaller government, move that ball down the field on a regular basis, and they disagree with the president's tariff strategy. They may disagree with other things. We have people of all different walks of life every single week who come on the show, and we have conversations. You can differ in opinion on the person who's in charge without trying to lay blame to the entirety of the majority of American people who have elected this man to make the decisions that he's making right now. But that's not enough for the Jimmy Kimmels of the world. They need to make sure it's not about this. Don't get it messed up when you're assessing what Jimmy Kimmel is trying to do. A lot of people are going to see what he's trying to do, and they're going to be like, he's insulting the MAGA crowd. He's trying to run them down and make them beneath us. It's not what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that the people who support him, those 6 or 7 listeners that he has left watching the Jimmy Kimmel show, that they stay ginned up with rage, that they stay completely and totally divided, that they won't talk to the people who might have supported Donald Trump or maybe couldn't just stomach supporting Kamala Harris in the last election. He has to invest his time in making sure that the opposition to the current person in power is very, very angry, righteously angry. And it's all based in lies. It's all rooted in a complete and total intentional disinformed public that feels, it's always feels their righteous indignation about Big Orange Man bad. And it's not rooted in reality. And that bullet going through Charlie Kirk's neck was a reality that people of all walks of life right now cannot deny. We've seen it. We saw it happen. He didn't deserve it. Charlie Kirk was an innocent man, and Jimmy Kimmel cannot understand that fact. There is a truth and a reality that is undeniable right now, and Charlie Kirk's death is that truth, that reality, and people are seeing it. And that doesn't mean they're going to run to the Republican Party, but they are going to look within their own and say, I don't think that this is for me anymore. I don't know if that makes me politically homeless, but this is no longer for me. And if ABC recognizes that, and with Jimmy Kimmel's teeny tiny audience that he already had right there, if it's going to get smaller because Jimmy Kimmel intentionally lies and deceives his audience, why would ABC keep him on the air? Does he need the FCC to say you need to take him off the air? It doesn't look like it. ABC made a decision. Disney made a decision. And now I see that the left is going to protest Disney. Okay.
Welcome to the club.
Jimmy Kimmel, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's 2 days in a row. Let's go to break. Hans von Spakovsky is going to be with us next. He's going to try to explain to me. I thought those were jingle bells. I'm like, I think it's a little soon now.
No, it's not.
No.
September 18th.
This is Celine Dion, 1997. Check my work.
Okay.
We'll ask Hans von Spakovsky. Not about that next. The Retirement Advisory Group, you find them online at retirementkey.com. October 2nd is coming up, and at 6:30 p.m., we are going to have our final of the year Protecting Your Retirement educational event. I get there at 6. I would love the opportunity to meet you at this event from 6 to 6:30, get to know you a little bit, and then I turn you over, along with Mark Cox and Mark Reardon, to the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group. Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig, they're going to explain to you about that moment where you are right now, which is you've been working for a long time. Retirement is around the corner. You got grandkids. You'd like to have a little more free time, a little more say over what you're doing throughout the course of your life. And you're thinking, maybe I'd like to retire a little bit earlier. I wonder if I can. Or, gosh, I don't know if I'm on schedule. What do I need to know? Well, you need to come to this free event. That's the bottom line. Reserve your spot. Bring a friend. Bring your spouse at 314-993-9494. And make sure you tell them Annie Fry sent you. 314-993-9494. And see us Thursday, October 2nd. The event starts at 6:30, but I'll get there at 6 o'clock and spend 45 minutes learning about how you can make sure your retirement provides you the peace of mind you've always dreamed of. RetirementKey.com.
If you or someone you know has a home to sell, call Gloria Lou. That's right, Gloria Lou, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria is here with me now. And when it comes to St. Louis area market conditions, what advice do you have for your home sellers in today's market?
Well, most importantly, I understand every seller's situation is different. Some sellers need to sell, and some sellers want to sell. And a lot of my sellers are looking to buy, and they also have a home to sell. My advice in this uncertain market is to get an upfront written guarantee. That way, you know exactly how much you stand to make with your home sale. My guarantee sale offer is simple. I'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Take it from me, Mark Cox, an actual client. Sell with certainty and an upfront guarantee with Gloria Lou. Call 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote Renter's Insurance at Progressive.com.
With conviction and clarity, The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
That is Jukebox Hero.
How's the
I actually thought that was Don Henley when it started because it's got a very similar bass line to
Boys
kick
of
'em when
Summer?
they're up, kick 'em when they're down.
I like Don Henley.
I do too. Don Henley gets a bad rap.
John Henley, I'm not familiar.
Don Henley gets a bad rap, and rightfully so because he's a little corny at times, like Desperado. But he made some great music.
Don Henley sings Desperado?
Uh-huh.
I only know Garth Brooks or Clint Black. Don't want to.
Now you're outside of my zone.
Not everybody knows everything about John Henley, so some people just tune in and they're like, Annie. I'm a huge John Henley fan and a fan of the Boys of Summer.
Me too. Great song. Well.
We're
Solve that.
We're going to get in contact with Hans von Spakovsky if our phone lines could function. So stand by for that. That's just a little inside baseball.
If you want to know why we're just rambling about the song.
In the 2 o'clock hour today, I'm going to give Ryan his Thursday birthday week present.
Yay! I was going to ask, but I didn't want to be ungrateful. But
I don't want to
really
build it
wanted
up too much because I don't want to over promise and under deliver.
Okay, but you said it's great, though.
I think that it might be the greatest thing I've ever done.
That's a huge promise.
Better than my children.
All right.
Say that seriously.
It better be a really nice cake.
No, I'm not giving you sugar. Do you know how hard it is to get you gifts for your birthday that don't have sugar in them?
You don't have to avoid sugar. I can eat sugar. I just don't eat it on the weekdays. And now here it is Thursday.
Well,
it's almost there.
I want to give you things that you like, and everything I can think of that you like is sweets.
That's fine. As long as it can stay. You know, if it's something that is going to expire quickly, I can't do it. Because I got to wait till Friday afternoon when the weekend begins.
Regardless, I'm thinking about giving Ethan a sneak peek of what it is. Trisha has seen the thing.
Is it big?
I don't know.
Is it expensive?
Yes.
Yay.
What if it's little and expensive?
Well, as long as it's expensive. It's the money that matters.
I know that everybody who is thinking about the Jimmy Kimmel situation is like, but really, I need to know, what does Eric Swalwell say about this?
Congressman, I see you are wearing a hat. What
Wait
is that hat?
Wait a second. I haven't seen this video.
I see you.
What a doof. Look at him. How would you describe Eric Swalwell right now? He looks like he's undercover looking for a Chinese date.
Oh, he's wearing a Kimmel hat. You can barely see that that's what that is.
What do you think about clear-rimmed glasses on a... Does he normally wear those glasses?
No, he does look like he's trying to go undercover as somebody pretending to be Eric Swalwell.
He looks like he's super secret undercover, but instead of wearing sunglasses, he got completely clear glasses.
Right. Like, you're supposed to cover your eyes, right? He's like, oh, yeah, I got these glasses, though.
CNN covering this.
Are wearing a hat. What does that hat say?
You're damn right I am, John. I was a guest on the Jimmy Kimmel show. He, every night...
Can we also... I'm sorry, Jim. This is too easy. I think we're proving the point. Eric Swalwell was a guest on a nighttime comedy show?
He's mad, and he's had enough of this.
Where's he going to be on
and
TV?
He said the D word.
Yeah.
And that means he's mad.
You're gosh darn right I am.
You're gosh darn right I am.
Has a right to come into any house that wants to watch and entertain Americans, just as Greg Gutfeld on Fox has a right.
It's Gutfeld.
Gutfeld.
And while Kimmel does have a right to go into any of these houses and be watched, people have chosen not to.
Yeah.
If this happened to Greg Gutfeld, it would be different. Because Greg Gutfeld is the winner in this category of nighttime shows.
And he's the only conservative late night show. There's lots of other
damn right I
ones.
am, John.
Ooh,
I was a guest on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Kiss your Chinese girlfriend with that mouth?
Every night has a right to come into any house that wants to watch and entertain Americans, just as Greg Gutfeld on Fox has a right to be not funny and go on his network and entertain Americans. It's a part of who we are, John, and frankly, it should shake every American that the President of the United States is out there firing comedians who make fun of him. That is not who we are, and every American should care and stand up to this.
Yeah,
He gets a little breathy at the end.
Yeah.
It sounds like he has to sneeze.
I'm not really sure. Not really sure why he's doing that. He's echoey. He's in the halls of
Did
Congress.
President Trump fire Jimmy Kimmel?
Well, my sources, which is Eric Swalwell, say yes.
Just now.
So yes, the answer is yes. The president fired Jimmy Kimmel. I think that's how that works.
That's your take? Trump says Kimmel decision was about bad ratings. Not only the Charlie Kirk comment from Fox News, President Donald Trump does not believe Jimmy Kimmel's remarks about Charlie Kirk or MAGA got, quote, Jimmy Kimmel live, exclamation point. pulled from the air indefinitely. Rather, the president said ABC made the decision based on Kimmel's, quote, very bad ratings, end quote, and, quote, lack of talent, end quote. Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else. And he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. The president added, quote, he was fired for lack of talent, end quote.
They're all missing a huge fact in this, and that's that multiple affiliates, actually it was one big group of affiliates,
Sinclair,
decided we don't want to air this anymore. If you don't have your affiliates on board, you do not have air anymore. There's no reason to have the show. And they were a huge affiliate, tons of stations all over the country. So if your affiliate doesn't carry your show, you don't have a reason to do the show. That's what happened. And you can say, oh, Sinclair's conservative. They are, but it's also the free market. That's not the government doing it.
Completely. And the FCC chair did not come out and fire him. Trump did not fire him. We want to know, though, from you, if you think Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension is an attack on free speech. Yes or no? Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We're broadcasting live there. You go to youtube.com/@AnnieFry, and you'll see that we're broadcasting live, and you can vote in the poll. We're going to get Hans when we come back. Hans, when we come back, Ethan got the phone lines. He's got the tin can in Hans von Spakovsky's hand, and Ryan's holding the other one. Thank you for contributing to the team.
You got to have tension in the wire.
That was the problem. We didn't have any tension. Tension acquired. Hans von Spakovsky next.
Experience matters, and if you're considering a backyard project, I want you to call my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. You know, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around since 1968. They're locally owned and operated by the same ownership all those years, and it is the sign you have the very best. They have their own professionally trained installation crews, their own trucks and tools. They aren't subbing anything out. You're getting the work done by the great people at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You're welcome to visit their showroom there in Chesterfield, or they'll be happy to come to you. They do free in-home estimates, no obligation. They do free project design, so whether you want a new deck or a new fence or maybe a new pergola out back or a new sunroom, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can take care of it. And for the month of September, mention Mark and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The YouTube live chat poll today is about Jimmy Kimmel. Is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech? It's a yes or no question. We're asking you to chime in. The YouTube live chat poll, 12:31. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Alton to Wildwood, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So we just played that clip from Eric Swalwell on CNN wearing his clear regular glasses and his Jimmy Kimmel live hat. And he said that Donald Trump fired Jimmy Kimmel, and he's mad about it. Let's get a lawyer on here. Hans von Spakovsky joins us once again, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former FEC commissioner and DOJ lawyer. Hans, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us today.
Sure, thanks for having me. I didn't realize President Trump was the CEO and president of ABC. Did something change? Did he resign his presidency? Because Donald Trump didn't fire Jimmy Kimmel. The network did.
So are you saying ABC made a business decision here?
Yes. And, you know, let me tell you the biggest problem I keep seeing in this is that you have all these people who really don't understand the First Amendment. The First Amendment says the government cannot criminally prosecute you for speech that is highly offensive or critical of the government or is about politics, the government can't criminally prosecute you. The First Amendment does not say that you can't suffer the consequences of that. So while the government can't prosecute you for saying something bad or offensive, your employer can fire you if the employer doesn't like what you say or says, "Hey, this is going to hurt my business. My customers are going to get mad." You can lose your job in a school if the school says, "Look, this is not appropriate." The First Amendment doesn't protect you from the civil consequences of what you've done. It just says the government can't put you in jail for it.
We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky here. Here's a listener comment. I'm asking you, is it disingenuous to say that the government wasn't involved? The accusation here is that the FCC explicitly threatened and then Trump celebrated Jimmy Kimmel or ABC. Is there some actionable item in that comment about an attack on free speech?
I mean, yeah, the chair of the FCC said, "Oh, this was terrible, and they'll look into it," but nothing else happened. And if the FCC, for example, tried to terminate or cancel their licensing because of this, they would have ended up in a big lawsuit, and I actually think they would have won. Let me tell you the other thing I think people are failing to do. Look, it's one thing. It's one thing to fire somebody, for example, which I think is wrong, because they have a different opinion than you on an issue like guns, abortion, or something like that. That's not the issue here. The issue here is Jimmy Kimmel's mocking grief, telling lies, fabricating lies about one of the most horrible things we've seen in quite a long time, an assassination. And that's very different, getting rid of him. And like I said, it's a network. If they think it's going to offend their customers, the people who view them, and the advertisers who pay for the show, they have every right to fire him. And yeah, he can keep saying what he said on his own time. He just doesn't have a First Amendment right to do it on a network program.
Hans von Spakovsky speaking with us right now, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. I've heard people discussing the distinguishment between broadcast and cable television, the fact that ABC is on a broadcast network, it's not on a cable provided platform. Can you tell me if that is there a responsibility for the government to come in? Because I don't really like the idea of the government policing things that are being said or saying this is only what we consider truth, because the Biden administration tried to have some ministry of truth or something creepy like that. So Jimmy Kimmel goes on Monday and he says that it's obvious that the shooter was one of the MAGA gang. And that there is nothing more obvious than the complete antithesis of that. Jimmy Kimmel had to know he was lying through his teeth when he said that.
Right.
Does truth matter or deception matter when it's a broadcast network at all, where the FCC is concerned?
I think what the FCC would say is, the licensing process is only a limited number of licenses that can be given out because of the limitations in the spectrum. If the spectrum was totally open, so that anybody could get into it, we wouldn't even have this kind of a licensing system. And so part of the issue, I think, with the FCC is making sure that you are not harming the community. Like I said, if he was simply giving a different opinion on issue, then there wouldn't be a problem. But when you are, in essence, I think, glorifying violence and making excuses for violence, that's something that shouldn't be tolerated, neither in the broadcast business or anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of all the networks that have, over the course of the last, I don't know, let's see, it's 2025, at least 10 years or so, probably going back more if you want to count pre-Trump times. There have been so many things that have been reported on network news that were not true. And you and I have talked about a lot of those things over the course of time. It seems as though it is legal for networks or for shows that are airing on networks to say things that are untrue. And I think that there are people both on the left and the right who want to make sure that freedom of speech is ultimately protected, even if the speech makes you uncomfortable. Did the FCC chair, did Carr cross a line or enter gray area by his comments regarding what Kimmel was doing and saying, being inflammatory about the MAGA thing and the shooter? Do you think that he moved into some gray area there about how he talked about what ABC should do with the show?
Yeah, I mean, it is a gray area. I don't think it was something they could lose their license over, but he was being very critical of him. Keep in mind that you can't just tell lies if you're telling factual lies, because if you do, you're subject to what? Libel lawsuits, right? Defamation and libel lawsuits. The law provides a remedy for that. If you're expressing an opinion, you can't be sued for defamation. But when you are asserting facts that we know are a lie, then you're opening yourself up to legal remedies, as we all know the president has proven on more than one occasion, including with ABC when George Stephanopoulos said that Trump had been convicted of rape, which was an absolute lie and a fabrication. That's why they had to pay that off, because Stephanopoulos made a factual assertion that was wrong.
Yes. Donald Trump's basically building his presidential library on the media's lies.
Right.
It's amazing. I wanted to shift gears a little bit here before we let you go and talk about Fani Willis. We haven't talked about that for a while, but I know that you know Georgia and that court system very well. Can you talk to us about the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis? The whole case that was brought, it was such a circus. It looked like a reality television show written with a really crappy script. And then it kind of all fell apart, but Fani Willis is back in the news. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, just within the last couple of days, remember, the Georgia Court of Appeals, which is the intermediate courts there, said that she and her entire office were recused and could not continue to handle this prosecution of Donald Trump and the other defendants because of all the misbehavior she had engaged in. She had appealed that decision to the Georgia State Supreme Court and asked them to overturn it. And this week, the Georgia State Supreme Court refused to accept her appeal. That means that the Court of Appeals decision stands, and she and her office, they're out of the case. And I don't think any other district attorney in the state will take up what we have known from the beginning was a bogus case. The decision on that will be made by what's called the Prosecutor's Attorneys Council. This is a state organization. They decide whether or not the case will be assigned to a different county DA or whether it'll just be dismissed. And I think it's highly probable they'll just throw out the whole thing.
So the case doesn't go away right now. For this moment in time, Willis goes away, and the case may just fade to black in the background. But what happens to Willis next?
Well, unfortunately, she got reelected. I have no doubt that because of this final decision about her misbehavior, if it hasn't already happened, there will be complaints filed with the Professional Board of Licensing of the state, which will decide whether her license should be suspended or revoked because of possible ethical violations in the way she handled the case. I think that should happen. Whether it will happen, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a roller coaster ride arc to the Fani Willis story, and George is like, yeah, we'll do that again. That's weird. Okay, Hans von Spakovsky, always a pleasure to have you here on the show. Thanks for being with us again today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Of course, as always, we appreciate you. He is a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former FEC commissioner. Check out his book. His book is How the Left Changed the Way You Vote, Our Broken Elections, and his podcast, host of Case in Point, the legal show for regular people. I think he's talking about us. Most of us. Almost all of us.
Some of us are regular people. Some of us are not.
You're just like really elevating the show today. We're going to take a break and think about what we've done. Mostly about what you've done, Ryan.
Well, the next segment's going to be great because it's going to help you navigate the workplace.
Read to me what you tweeted or sent in a DM to me.
Oh my gosh, that's a DM. That's a direct message. That's private.
All right, I'm glad you brought it up. How about I do that here? This is every day. Ryan sends us a message to tell us what he's going to talk about at 12:45, and every once in a while I go, "No, you're not going to talk about that. We're not going to do that." Here's what Ryan sent to us today. More trendy workplace terms that you need to know so that you can be a great employee and friend because you're failing at both right now. Sorry, but it's true.
I've sent that to everybody, not just you. That was to the whole team.
I felt attacked.
Well, Brad and Ethan should equally, though.
Airing of Grievances by Ryan Wiggins. Next, don't play. Home Shield Foundation Repairs, 314-227-9636, homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. Matt Hayes will come to your home and or your place of business and see what's going on with the concrete. It's cracked, it's uneven, it's a liability, and you need to solve this problem, and you don't want to pay a penny more than you have to. I get it. A cost-effective way to do this is to use the polyjacking system. Takes polyurethane foam, injects it underneath the concrete, raises it up, levels it out, gets rid of your liability, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Way more cost-effective than having to rip out the concrete and replace it. And if you don't really know what it's all going to entail, when you call 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636. You're going to be able to invite Matt Hayes out to assess the situation, give you the information on what he can do, what you're looking at, so you can make an educated decision when you hire Home Shield Foundation Repair. If you have sinking concrete that can lead to trips, falls, and structural concerns, whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, patio, garage floor, call Home Shield Foundation Repair, 314-227-9636, homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Scott Jennings here. I'm excited to be part of the St. Louis conservative conversation, cutting through the noise with unfiltered common sense.
Scott Jennings.
Weekdays at 8 p.m.
on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. And you know, your home is your sanctuary. You need to take the first step to peace of mind with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac generator dealer in the country, Generator Supercenter. We learned the hard way here in St. Louis during the tornado recently that power can be knocked out. But even outside of that, what if the power grid fails and it's 100 degrees here in St. Louis? You don't want to be that person. Get with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis today. Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. Tell them that we sent you along.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis, and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid. Freedom Care has over 7,000 5-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com, or for faster service, call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
When it comes to roofing, you can't go wrong with Corel Roofing. Mark Cox here. My friend Curtis Corel came out, looked at my roof, worked with my insurance adjuster. I got a new roof, new gutters, and even new screens on some of my windows. Curtis specializes in working with insurance companies. Even if you've been denied, he's often able to work with these insurance adjusters to find a way to get it covered. Here's something else Curtis tells me. With cooler weather coming, you need to be aware of something. Roofs cannot be installed if the temperature dips below 45 degrees. Some companies go ahead and do this anyway, but you're going to have problems down the road. So if you're concerned that your roof won't make it through the winter, call Curtis Corel today. Corel Roofing has crews with over 20 years of experience. They pay attention to detail, and they can work with all the luxury line roofing as well. Call Curtis at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. or on Facebook at Corel Roofing Co.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar today at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins! Oh, Wiggins! All right, y'all, let's learn a thing or two about the workplace. These are trendy workforce terms that you should know this year. We did a few of these a few months ago, and you might remember career catfishing. That's when you accept a job offer, only show up for a day or not at all. And then that's it. You're just like casting the net as wide as you can. White fonting, remember that one? That was when you put a bunch of key catchphrases in your resume, but then you put it in white font. So if somebody actually looks at it, they couldn't see that it's there, but the algorithm does. That's good stuff. Here's some new ones. The great re-engagement. Following the great disengagement and subsequent great resignation brought on by the pandemic. This is CFO.
Huh?
ChiefFinancialOfficer.com.
Okay.
So they know.
It's edited by CFOs around the world.
That's right.
It's a huge subscription fee to get this content.
Mm-hmm. $100,000 a year.
We can't afford it like that.
You got to be a CFO.
What are you a CFO?
I'm just rich.
Oh.
I'm not a CFO.
You're not a CFO. Independently wealthy.
Yeah.
Edited by CFOs and content for CFOs.
Yeah, it's for very few people. I'm one of them.
So what was it?
The great re-engagement. This trend describes the mass return of employees to the office.
Why do we need to name this?
And away from hybrid roles into more traditional corporate settings. You a fan of the hybrid work?
If it works, if you're doing your job.
I'm a big fan of the hybrid work.
I think if it doesn't hinder I think you should have as much freedom as you possibly can to still crush your job.
You're a fan of the hybrid work because you don't work.
You need to shut your mouth. I'm rich. As we just fictionally established. The couple other ones that we did last time, too, I just want to re-hit these. Dining El Desco. Does it need a name? I mean, you're right. Does it need a name? You kind of know what that is.
Why can't you just eat lunch? Just eat
you
lunch.
You can at your desk.
Just eat lunch.
And then it's called Dining El Desco.
It's not called anything.
It is. Neanderthal.
What?
Remember that one?
No.
This is a frowned upon term by human resources. Neanderthal describes someone who's very slow to get to the point. This person might talk in circles during meetings without providing meaningful input.
This is a disaster.
While CFOs, remember those, should probably keep this term informal. It could provide some humor during happier times.
Naming the Neanderthals in your... Oh, my gosh.
Pointing them out, saying Neanderthal. How about corporate flirting? Using flirtation in the workplace as a means to get ahead is not a new concept, but its rising trendiness among younger employees is notable. Ethan.
Hi, Ryan. Your beard is looking very two-toned today.
Don't do that. Finance leaders play a significant role in promoting a culture that not only encourages professionalism, but also actively discourages behaviors like corporate flirting that could lead to legal risks for both the company and the individuals. Remember, this is from the perspective of the CFO. So corporate flirting is a no-go for the CFOs. They don't want you doing that. It's just dating in the workplace, but it's now got a name. Corporate accent. Anybody got a corporate accent? The corporate accent,
all these dumb words.
This may be one of the most easily avoidable and toxic items on this list. It can refer to the inflection of someone's voice during company calls, often rising and falling.
That's a song.
To convey confidence.
Or if you want to be really in touch, you just finish everything you say with a little uptick so everybody feels like they're still hanging on at the end, and then you get to the end and you can't go any higher. Don't.
So now we're gonna
talk.
take it real
Don't.
low.
Stop flirting. You stop flirting.
One thing I've noticed is that a lot of you are flirting and hanging out in the office in private rooms.
Oh,
right?
Private rooms? Oh, God, don't say right.
The way that you're doing Uptalk has to end with right.
My heart is beating faster. It really is.
Why?
Because I hate this stuff. It makes me like, you know what I do? You know what I'm good at? Talking.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
I'm good at corporate jargon.
You're actually not.
I love corporate meetings, though.
You mock corporate jargon with corporate jargon.
I do. In meetings, before I was here everybody knows you're doing it.
This is what makes me so mad about the way people publicly speak, but specifically, especially in like corporate meeting spaces, which I don't really have to do these anymore. So I've kind of come to detox. But these people are not natural speakers, so they read these stupid articles and they start doing this crap, and then we sit here and then we have to talk, right? And it's like
good.
Nobody talks like this. You don't have to say right. People say right. It's supposed to mean this, like it's supposed to connect you with the people you're talking with. It's that if you state something and you say right at the end, then it's like, oh, we're having a conversation because I just said right, and then you're forced to affirm me because I'm your corporate overlord, and then and then it's like now it's a hostage situation. It's hot in here.
All of this is supposed to connect you to your fellow employees and
Breathe, Annie.
And your higher ups as well. So if you're not taking it that way, then that's on you.
I despise.
What up, Joe? Dining El Desco?
I despise being talked at in corporate jargon because they think it's going to make me feel good. What do you want from me? I will do it for you.
Care to partake in some corporate flirting?
That's how you ask. Hey, you're kind of cute. You want a corporate flirt?
As long as you ask.
As long as you keep it corporate. And you talk and you say right
Let's not
after
take
everything.
this out of the office, okay? Yeah, you got to meander.
Just say what you want to say. Just talk like humans.
I kid you not. When I used to be in more corporate environments, I would, in meetings, be like, hey, you guys, I think we just need to strike while the iron is hot and grab the bull by the horns.
And everyone was like, yes, he gets it.
It was great because half the people would, and the other half would be like, oh, gosh.
The people that know you.
Last couple here is
the worst is the people who entertain it thinking that they're kicking the corporate tail's butt.
Those people are awesome.
I don't like any of it.
I love those people. Those are the people that do walk by, finger gun you, and be like, Dining El Desco?
I want to bite the finger guns off the hands.
She just bit my finger.
Don't ever
What's the name for this in corporate jargon?
You'll never finger gun me again.
Duck shuffler.
Excuse me, what?
So this is if you have all
That's
the
what I'm going to
ducks
start calling all of them. You
in a
duck shuffler.
row, and somebody comes along and just changes things for the sake of change, but no real reason. They're called a duck shuffler.
The manage uppers.
Usually. Usually.
They had to do something.
Oh, this is hot. Let's play this.
Corporate
Come
flirting.
on now. Here we go.
Ethan, I think this is an inappropriate song that you picked for this Ryan Wig segment, and I'm going to let you guys have a moment by yourself and think about what you've done.
What, a corporate flirt?
Somehow or another, Stuart Rosenblum is going to be on the show next, and we'll get things back together. The Fed lowered rates. We'll talk about it next.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
RulerFoods.com. Save right now on Kroger chicken wings, only $7.99 when you purchase them. Did you know you can save a lot on your products that you always like to buy? Whatever those name brands are, they have them at Ruler Foods, but they also carry Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Keep your home stocked with Kroger Ultra Strong Bath Tissue, 18 rolls or giant roll paper towels, 10 rolls for just $9.99. And you can save right now on Kroger Grade A large eggs, just $1.99. The savings are plentiful at Ruler Foods, and they are every day. But if you want to save a little extra on the products that you love, if you go to rulerfoods.com, you can see the ad of whatever is currently running at a little bit extra savings right there on their website. And you can easily find the Ruler Foods that's located near you. There are a ton of them scattered all over the bi-state region. You can even schedule one of those Ruler Foods deliveries to be shipped directly to your door, to your office, whatever is convenient for you. Save when you shop for your groceries at Ruler Foods. Find all the details you need at rulerfoods.com.
Make the most of fall and have an outdoor space that you actually love that's built to last. Lakeside Renovation and Design builds custom decks, screened-in porches, covered patios, and they use these durable, low-maintenance materials like composite decking and aluminum railings. They're going to make sure you have the perfect setup so you can host your family and friends for backyard barbecues or just sit outside and enjoy the morning coffee even when it's raining. Don't wait until the spring to start planning the space that you want to enjoy next year. Start with a free consultation. Visit lakesiderd.com, lakesiderd.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The top Senate Democrat goes on the attack on Lisa Brady. Fox News.
It's repulsive.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accusing the Trump administration of using what Schumer calls the awful death of Charlie Kirk to supercharge a campaign against political opponents.
One of the great hallmarks of our country is free speech, whether you agree or disagree. And this administration is trying to snuff it out. They don't want people to even speak.
This as some companies and institutions have fired or suspended people over Kirk-related comments, including the ABC suspension of late-night host Jimmy Kimmel. Reporters asking President Trump and the British Prime Minister earlier today whether free speech is under attack and about Kimmel specifically.
President Trump says he believes it was due to bad ratings.
You can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
ABC pulled Kimmel's show off the air indefinitely after comments he made in a recent monologue claiming many in MAGA land were working very hard to capitalize on the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. One congressional Democrat is moving to subpoena the FCC chair. The Federal Trade Commission suing the nation's leading concert ticket vendor, claiming it deceives artists and customers.
The FTC's complaint against Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation, is that their practices deceive customers by advertising low ticket prices while making them pay higher costs. It's also alleged that while customers must adhere to limits on tickets, brokers are often allowed to exceed those limits. The FTC said it's using a March executive order from President Trump, which calls on the federal government to keep consumers from being taken advantage of by ticket vendors as a guide for its action.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Live Nation has not reacted to this lawsuit, but previously said it supported reforms called for by the president. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
This should be our last really hot day of this stretch. Partly to mostly sunny skies. It's hot, but the humidity levels are still bearable. 95, 68 tonight, partly cloudy. Friday, partly sunny. Couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms around, but they look quite limited. I think we got a lot of dry time on Friday, 85. The weekend, partly sunny, mid to upper 80s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new furnace, get Carrier Cool Cash rebates and 0% financing so you'll be nice and cozy as the weather turns. For a free estimate on a new heating system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM
What we can
Talk.
say is this, that over the course of this year, we've kept our policy at a restrictive level, and people have different views, but a clearly restrictive level, I would say. So, and we were able to do that over the course of this year because the labor market was in very solid condition with strong job creation and all those things. I think if you go back to April and now look at the revised job creation numbers for May, June, July, and August, you can I can no longer say that. So what that means is that the risks were clearly tilted toward inflation. I would say they're moving toward equality. Maybe they're not quite at equality. We don't need to know that. But we do know that they've moved meaningfully toward greater equality, the risks between the two goals, and that suggests that we should be moving in the direction of neutral, and that's what we did today.
So that's the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, talking about the quarter basis points, 25 basis points drop, and he's saying that they've had a restrictive stance, but the jobs numbers and their revisions, they're moving to a neutral stance. And I never know what these things mean, so I just talked to my friend Stewie. Hi, Stewie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm confused. Stuart Rosenblum here with Stuart's American Mortgage. You hear me talking about the bagel loan all the time. This is my guy. I have used the bagel loan twice as a customer of his, and I highly recommend it. We're so glad as a show to partner with you to bring that opportunity for people out there. First, can you tell us your immediate reaction to the Fed Chair Powell's decision? And then I want to ask you, mostly what everybody wants to know is, can this save me some money?
All right. So the main thing everybody needs to understand is that the Fed funds rate is not mortgage rates. I remember back in COVID days when they dropped it down to zero to try to stir up activity, we were getting 300-400 calls a day. Hey, can I get a mortgage at 0%? No. The Fed funds rate is the rate that banks charge each other in order to keep their liquidity on hand. Banks have to have a certain amount of liquidity at the bank at the end of the day. The biggest business that a bank is in is to go ahead and lend money. At the end of the day, if they're out of cash, they have to borrow from each other or from the Federal Reserve. The rate that's going ahead and pay each other is the Fed funds rate, and that affects short-term financing. Car loans, credit cards, those type of financial vehicles are directly impacted for what the federal funds rate is or what they do. Long-term interest rates is based on the long-term projection on where the overall economy is going and where interest rates are going to be on a long-term projection. And that's why we said on the show and many times over, it's not what they do, it's what they say. And so we got a little bit of a mixed message yesterday from Jerome Powell and from the Federal Reserve. Kind of expected because they don't want to stick their neck out, but we got a mixed message. And the mixed message was, hey, employment is softer. We want to do something to stir up the economy. We're going to cut it 0.25%. But with inflation out there, we're going to kind of watch what the economy does before we go ahead and commit to future rate cuts. This caused interest rates to actually bump up a little bit. Now,
so the Fed cuts 25 basis points, and you're telling me mortgage rates, as at this point, had gone up a hair.
And just a hair. Now, 2 to 3 weeks before the Fed funds got cut, before Jerome Powell did what he did, interest rates took a significant dive because everybody was convinced based on the reports that are out there, that a cut was coming and will be continuous. Unfortunately, when you see employment softening, when you see these things happening, you know the Federal Reserve has to do something about it, and we knew this was going to come. I wish it would have came a lot earlier. I think our president had called for that many times over, but
I think he mentioned it.
Yeah, at least more than once. At least right now they did it at this point.
Can somebody get Donald Trump's opinion on Jerome Powell for me? I'm not 100% sure how he feels about it.
Why don't they ever listen to the businessmen when it comes to the economy? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So they went ahead and they did this, and in anticipation of the cut, the markets reacted positively, bonds rallied, and so you're seeing interest rates half, three-quarter, almost a whole percent lower than it was 6 weeks ago. This is a big, big deal. Okay. Now, if you're on the sidelines and you're wondering, should I refinance my house now or not refinance it now, there are different ways that you can save money that people don't think about.
So people see the Fed is in the news. And you've just distinguished something important, that when the Fed lowers rates, it's not completely not involved with the other rates we pay, but it is adjacent to. It's not the same as those different types of rates you're paying on your mortgage, your auto loans, your credit cards and stuff. So people hear that. And the only question that really anybody has is, can I pay less money in interest for the money that I owe back? How can I save money in this? And you've got multiple ways that people can do that. And I think everyone's wondering about timing as well.
Right. Well, the first thing is don't self-diagnose. Don't say, hey, I got this rate. I should wait. I should not wait. I should do it or not do it. There are different ways to save money. I'll give you some examples. We had a listener, an 85 listener, called us. His rate was in the upper sixes. He can refinance with us with the bagel loan, no closing costs, and save himself about $100 a month on his payment. But when I got into the conversation with him, he was most concerned about paying off his mortgage as quick as possible, and he was concerned about the interest rate that he pays. A 30-year fixed interest rate is a higher rate than a 20-year. A 20-year fixed interest rate is higher than a 15-year. And what this particular person didn't realize is we can take him from 29 years left on his mortgage to 20 years, and his payment only went up $35.
That's wild.
The amount of savings, and I'm not kidding you with this, the amount of savings, $170,000 worth of interest.
For $35 more a month.
For $35 more, converting it to a 20-year at a much lower interest rate than the 30. So for some people, it's about saving money overall and getting the best interest rates. Others come around and say, you know what? I'm at 7% right now. I can get a lower interest rate. I'll refinance and save $200 a month. If I want, I'll pay extra every month and be done with a shorter period of time. But if you have credit cards with high interest rates or, hey, life is there and your kids need new shoes or whatever it is, now you got the extra cash to go ahead and pay for these things, and it's free with the bagel loan. And that's a key factor. You asked me, is now the good time? Should I wait? The bagel loan is a big, big plus for anybody out there because there's no closing costs. So 6 months from now, if the rates go down again, guess what? You can do it again. It doesn't cost you anything. If you go to a lender and they're charging you tons of fees, and I'm not here just to sell ourselves, it's just a practical financial application. You can go ahead and do it. We actually monitor the rates for you in the future. If you're a customer of yours, I did it with you when rates went down. I called you up. AI is actually helping us in contacting you, believe it or not, to let you know that we can do this. If you're a customer of ours, we will monitor it for you. And if the rates do go down, we'll call you. Hey, we can refinance again for free.
We're speaking with Stuart Rosenblum of Stuart's American Mortgage. You hear me talking about the bagel loan all of the time. You can Google the bagel loan. The number to reach him directly to his personal cell phone is 314-324-4440. You mentioned credit card debt right there, or you said life happens, whatever. I'm wondering if I'm not wondering. I know there are people listening right now that are dealing with a financial hardship that they're really embarrassed about, that they are struggling with, that may be even a secret in their own marriage, that there is a certain financial burden that is pulling at people, and it's the first thing they think about every morning when they wake up. It's the last thing they think about when they're trying to go to sleep at night. This seems like it might be an opportunity because equities are really high in homes right now, I would assume, across the board on average.
They are. They're the highest they've ever been.
So it seems to me like there might be a very good opportunity right now for people to address whatever the problem is. And if that problem is really big for you and you're listening right now, I know that you've told me privately about people who you've helped face really what they presume to be insurmountable financial burdens. You've been able to help them with a bagel loan or whatever works best for them, but they just need to call you.
Well, there are numerous instances and stories that we had. You know, we had a listener that called us and said, hey, I've been on the sidelines. I've heard you're on Annie Fry. I've heard some of your commercials that are on there, and I've heard this over the year. Finally, I picked up the phone call, and this was a veteran. And the veteran was suffering tremendously with the amount of debt, emotional stress. You know, this happens also with relationships. The biggest stress you're going to have usually in a marriage is the financial stress. So this person individually was barely surviving. The credit had gone a little bit low, and they just didn't think it was possible to do anything. They called us, and we refinanced that veteran, paid off all his debt, saved him $800 a month on his payment. Now, when you're on a fixed income and you're getting disability from the VA, that's a lot of money. And he called me back a couple months later and said, you changed my life. So if you're in a situation like this where cash flow is an issue, you don't know whether you should get a home equity line of credit, which is not the best thing in the world to get, or what you should do, don't self-diagnose. Give us a call. You're not going to get judgment by me. I'm not going to say, hey, you're a deadbeat because you can't pay your bills. I understand about life, and I understand things happen. And I understand even if you make some mistakes, but give us an opportunity, or give somebody that has the expertise the opportunity to help you. If you can help you, it'll change your life. You'll have a better quality of life. You'll be happier. The people around you will be happier. And then maybe, you know what, you can start getting yourself back on track for a better future.
You know, Ryan, I think that I know that you have real estate interests outside of just your home, but you also know what it's like to be, you and your wife are working your tail off, you're raising kids. Whatever the rates are, make a big difference in the overall way of anybody's financial picture. But when it comes to the effort it takes to meet the financial needs to raise a family right now, it's obviously harder than it's ever been in my lifetime. And I think there are a lot of people who are listening who have been very uncomfortable to own up to those things, and that having somewhere to go that is discreet it can be incredibly freeing. So there are a whole bunch of different types of scenarios where you could be in a position to be helped by Stewie, like you with your extra real estate interest or whatever. But I think the worst thing you can do is just keep it a secret and financial problems don't ever fix themselves.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why you're tossing to me on the secret things because I don't really have a whole lot of them. But I will say that, I don't really talk about my real estate a whole lot on the air. But I've been talking to Stewie. Like, that's the thing is that as I'm hearing you just sit, we're talking about these things, you're telling these stories. If you're on the other side of the radio, sometimes you hear a story and you're like, is that real? Are these real stories? Like, we're using Stewie. Like, I'm talking to you right now about refinancing. I can't beat your rates, and I've tried. I'm talking to lots of people. My brother is refinancing and closing on a house with you really soon. So,
and they're very nice people.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Are they nicer than Ryan?
Really? Well, I don't know.
Look, if he was a jerk, that's one of those secrets we'd want to keep. but I'm just saying that because these are things that we're all using, and it's not just because, we're not endorsing because we're like, oh, this would be a good idea. We're endorsing because we use the product. And I'm talking to you right now. We're looking for a certain thing. We're trying to thread the needle, but you're helping me do that.
Right.
And I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I will continue to talk to you about these things because you give great advice. So thank you.
Don't allow the fear of your situation to make you procrastinate. That's the key. These things aren't going to go away. It's not like I won't talk about it today. I won't deal with it today, and tomorrow will be better. It won't. So get up, make your changes in your life, do something about it. People can help you. If you don't want to call me, call somebody that you do trust.
Call Stuart.
And get to a better place. And experts can get you there, and they're not judgmental. If you go to, God forbid, you got to go to a doctor, you've got something on your hand or something you're embarrassed to show. The doctor sees this all day, every day, and they're going to try to help you and bring you a better place. And then usually, 99% of the time, those people that are procrastinating that eventually do come to us, they say the same thing over and over again. Why did I wait? I could have done this a long time ago. I could have been in a better position today. Thank God at least I did it. If you're in that situation, call us. We'll be able to help you out.
Yeah, and the Fed could still get together and make some more moves this year, whatever is coming. Stewie, you're always the person who's very generously kind to me to explain this in terms that even I can understand. I know that if you call Stewie, he will walk you through everything to make sure you're crystal clear on what you're doing. And I'm a very happy customer of Stewart's American Mortgage. I hope that if you are in a financial pinch right now, I know that it's probably it's easy to come on and be like, you're buying a new house, go with Stewie. But I really want to make sure people who are listening to the show understand that the financial stress of this moment in time is difficult on everybody. And if you've been looking for a window or a door to escape the situation you're in right now, you can trust Stewie, you can call him and engage in that conversation with him and get on the path to fixing things and getting a plan. It's really just about getting a plan.
It's just getting somebody else to help you that you can trust and is really going to be in your interest and not their interest. And, there's a lot more gratification helping somebody in that situation, like that veteran. Yeah, we help people buy homes and refinance and save money, and we want to do that every day of the week. But when you're able to help somebody to that degree and change their life dramatically, there's a lot of satisfaction. You go home, look in the mirror, and say, you know what? I helped somebody today.
Yeah, amen. Well, Stewie, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming in and talking to us. Big news this week with the Fed, and we're glad we could get your insight.
Thanks for having me.
As always, 314-324-4440 if you'd like to call him or even text him directly, 314-324-4440, Stuart's American Mortgage. Google the Bagel Loan. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to talk a little bit more about the live chat poll when we come back. Is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech? Give us your comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
Don't think aloud. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out.
This is your chance to win a free basic handgun skills class from the Range St. Louis West. Mark Cox here, 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin is where the range sits, and you got to go. This is ideal for beginners, expert instruction. They have it available in a women-only class if you're more comfortable. Normally, the class is $135. You can win right now, therangestl.com/971. Again, therangestl.com/971. Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
Live, local, and conservative. It's the Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Do you feel like since, we're a week plus a day past the Charlie Kirk assassination, do you feel like is the rhetoric getting amped up right now? Has it toned down? Where are we?
So now we're into sort of phase 2 of this thing where you see the ripple effects. And that's Kimmel. And that's some of the back and forth about who's responsible and all that. I think that's kind of dying down a little bit. So I would say it's actually starting to, the initial phase is dying down. Now we're seeing phase 2.
I'm not talking about phases post. I'm talking about rhetoric. Because we had a week-long conversation about whether this is a both sides issue or just a one-side issue. Do you think, I have all of these clips here of people saying that it's just a leftist issue. And I probably agree with them, but I feel like playing that is inflammatory.
Okay.
Even though it's something that I kind of agree to be true. I look at all of this stuff as how is this useful? Now, I do a radio show, and if I'm not entertaining you, then you're not listening to me. So a part of what I do has to be entertaining, but I'm not willing to prioritize entertainment over value. And I think that there is a lot of noise. There's a difference between sitting down, like if the three of us were just sitting down here having a discussion about like, where's the real problem here? If the three of us are having a conversation and we conclude that this is a left side issue, this isn't a both sides issue, the left is the one firing bullets at the right. That's the truth of the matter. If the three of us sit down and have that conversation and all three of us know where all three of us are politically, even if we had somebody sitting in here who was on the left, but we knew these people personally and we were having that conversation and an open debate and we were allowing that person to talk, that's different than me speaking into thousands of St. Louis radios saying one thing or another is true and not really having a two-way conversation about it, just saying, like, this is the matter of fact. The left is the problem in this country. It's easy to clip. I'm trying to weigh. I'm just letting you as a listener here understand that my thought process on this is, how do I have this conversation in a way that is valuable and productive and not just incendiary?
Okay. To answer your initial question, the way I think I would answer that, and you can see if you agree with me or not, is that right now, these aren't fires that are new. In fact, most of them, they just kind of go back and forth between kind of going dormant a little bit where the charcoal's burning, you can see the embers, but it's not flamed, to something like this happens and it just flames up again. So I think in that sense, yes, the rhetoric is hotter than usual, but it's not new rhetoric. And what sounds like what you're looking for, I think what those of us who are doing this and certainly doing it every day for a living, we have to watch this stuff, we have to dig in deep and see, and then we have to communicate about it. It seems as if what we're trying to do is find not where the flame is hot, because it's the same. I mean, it's the same burning that it has been. It's where is it moving? Is it popping up somewhere different than before? Is there something shifting in America? Because the flame has always been there. It's hot right now. It dies back down. That's just kind of the nature of it. But is it moving? And I'm kind of watching that, and I don't know the answer to that right now. It does seem like something's shifted, but I can't see what it is yet.
Remember earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, where I was talking about like the locker room pep rally that you have? The kind of private conversation that you have before you go into, air quotes, little B battle to win an important sporting event. You have a conversation in your locker room. That's a private conversation. You know, how a team gets prepared to go implement the plan that they've put into place to win a competition. you're going to have a private conversation in a private space, and it's going to involve some hyping up. You're going to be talking about, in a sporting analogy, you're going to be talking about the shooting guard that we need to stop on the right side. And you're going to need to talk about the block out that you're going to need to implement on the left side from the top rebounder who gets 12 a game from putbacks. And if we cut that in half, we're going to compete. These specific types of things. You're going to talk about your opponent's weaknesses, and you're going to look to exploit your opponent's weaknesses. That's what you do in sport. That's how you win in sport. That's how a coach wins, is studying the game, preparing a team, learning the opponent, and applying a plan. And that all gets unfolded in a locker room. And there's a lot of hype that might go into that leading out into a big game. But that hype isn't really for your opponent's fans to consume. It's an internal thing. It's not an outward thing. Now, maybe how you go out into the stadium, the arena, the court, or whatever, like how you play the music, how you do the lights, what the PA announcer says. Like, these are all things you can do to kind of intimidate the opponent to try to give you a little home court advantage, whatever. But when I think about politics as sport, I do think that there is a difference between the conversation we have here with like-minded people, but I am very keenly aware that there are people listening who don't agree with our politics. And I will say, if I tune into a talk product, a podcast, a radio show or something, and in this moment of time, especially a week after this happens, the whole conversation centers around how this is all the left's fault. That doesn't make me, as somebody who might sort of agree in the premise, it doesn't make me feel like we are solution-oriented. It just makes me feel like at the end of the day, if we all agree on the enemy, then that's good enough for me. And for this show, that's not good enough for me in this show. There has to be, if we've identified the problem, and I was having this conversation earlier today, if we've identified the problem as the vitriol coming from a portion of the far extreme left, we've identified it. That's good. We have to start thinking about what the solution is. And I think the solution is to make sure that when people tune in, this is me in the space that I control for 3 hours on 97.1. I want people who didn't know who Charlie Kirk was before, or who maybe have found out who Charlie Kirk is today, and maybe they've attached, I wonder what the conservative station in St. Louis is saying. And of course, that's here on 97.1 FM Talk. I wonder what they're saying. If they tune into this station and they hear me talking about how all Democrats are evil, everything they've ever thought about conservatives or Republicans is instantly confirmed. If people are looking to denounce what they've been attached to, or maybe looking to take a step into something they've put away from themselves, I want people to know that the Republican Party is Charlie Kirk, that the conservative movement is Charlie Kirk. We are open to ideas. We are open to discussion. We are not interested in censoring people and shutting people up. And before you even get the words Jimmy Kimmel out of your mouth, you got a problem with ABC, you let ABC know. I think that there has to be a solution-oriented place to land for people in the midst of everything that's being offered to you in order for healing to actually happen. And I might be completely wrong. That's the mentality I have right now. We know that people on the right have been canceled. We're going to talk to somebody coming up next. Matthew Albertell. This is a story that was tipped off to us by one of our dear friends of the show, somebody who we are connected to with regularly on the show. And this is a really interesting story about somebody who was staying in an Airbnb, and they discovered this individual, Matthew Albertell, was conservative. And the story you're going to hear of what happens next, you're going to lean into that. You're going to want to be here when we return. In just a few minutes, Matthew Albertell joins us to tell his story that included an Airbnb host who researched him, found out he was conservative, sent him a death threat that said, "I'm going to kill you." How often is this happening? Let's get Matthew Albertell's story next.
In a small town, see how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in.
AirComfortService.com, 314-513-0091. I want to talk to the business owners out there, building managers, ops managers, office managers that are paying attention to the HVAC system, or maybe you've been told to pay attention to it, and you know that the furnace wasn't working great last winter, and you need to get it checked before we get the cold weather setting in. You can call Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, and get a free second opinion on a heat exchanger or compressor repairs. Air Comfort Service has provided residential and commercial heating and cooling services for 55 years. They know a thing or two. Certainly not commercially, but they've been in my residence multiple times, and my HVAC system pretty much is entirely supported by Air Comfort Service and the products they've installed in my house, and I'm very grateful for it. They're good people. You can check out their Google reviews, the many awards that they've received, and you can call them at 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When it comes to roofing, you can't go wrong with Corel Roofing. Mark Cox here. My friend Curtis Corel came out, looked at my roof, worked with my insurance adjuster. I got a new roof, new gutters, and even new screens on some of my windows. Curtis specializes in working with insurance companies. Even if you've been denied, he's often able to work with these insurance adjusters to find a way to get it covered. Here's something else Curtis tells me. With cooler weather coming, you need to be aware of something. Roofs cannot be installed if the temperature dips below 45 degrees. Some companies go ahead and do this anyway, but you're going to have problems down the road. So if you're concerned that your roof won't make it through the winter, call Curtis Corel today. Corel Roofing has crews with over 20 years of experience. They pay attention to detail, and they can work with all the luxury line roofing as well. Call Curtis at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529, or on Facebook at Corel Roofing Co.
Is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech? We're asking you that question in the YouTube live chat poll today, and people leaving comments like Julia, who said, nope. Employers are under no obligation to pay their employees to damage their business. The Constitution limits government, not your boss. If you agree with her or you disagree, let us know. You can leave a comment yourself, and we highlight those throughout the show, as we continue to do throughout this show going until 3 o'clock today. 1:36 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Bold takes, real talk, no apologies. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us. Beautiful Thursday afternoon here in the middle of September. Let's get to our next guest. I'm excited to welcome Matthew Albertell onto the show with us. He's the co-founder of Common Sense Elections Super PAC. He's also a former Trump digital marketing strategist. Matthew, thank you for coming on the show to tell your story. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. And to your point earlier, Droy is a very, very good, very close friend. We've done a lot of work together on a lot of projects, and you could say he's like a father to me. He's a great man.
Droy Murdoch is a wonderful friend of the show and a regular guest on Wednesdays, and he tipped us off to this story. Once again, so people can remember your name, it's Matthew Albertell. I'm not going to set up the story too much other than to say that you were targeted because of your conservative beliefs. You're just out in the wild living your life, doing your thing. And I want to give you the opportunity to tell us exactly what happened to you, Matthew. Let us know.
Sure. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. So this was a very bizarre incident, and this could have been prevented, and it wasn't. Sadly, I have everything meticulously documented. To make a long story short, I was assaulted. I was punched in the face by the host, and I actually later found out that she has 5 different names, 5 different aliases in the state of Pennsylvania alone. She was arrested and is being charged with 5 counts of aggravated assault, 2 of which are in the second degree misdemeanor. And it was strange because, I booked this place for a month. New York City, it has to be a month-long stay. They ban short-term rentals. And I was in transition. I was looking for a new place to move. And, I also have a clothing line that I was, had video shoots planned and all sorts of stuff. And she was gone for the first 2 weeks. And her son was bizarrely there, who wasn't supposed to be. It was a little strange. I don't know what he was doing there. So it was a little awkward, but, I dealt with it. And he asked me, I'll never forget the way he asked me. He said, "Does your last name start with an A?" And I paused. I was like, "Oh boy." I said, "Yes." And that was all he said. On the Airbnb profile, I used my middle name, Matthew Charles. And the host was gone. And the second she came back after I was asked that question is when I literally received, and I quote, "I'm going to kill you." And that freaked me out. All my belongings, mind you, are at her place. So I immediately left. It was a very cold day. I remember very vividly. It was very cold that day. And I was on the phone with Airbnb for about 7 to 8 hours, pleading with them to please relocate me, to put me somewhere else, get me somewhere else. Please get me out of where I am. It was, I just received a death threat. And it was one call after another. I had a total of over 25 open chats, over 15 hours on the phone, altogether, this whole ordeal. And I remember very vividly, they failed to find me a place because a lot of this work has been outsourced to India. They even sent me links to places. Mind you, I had 2 weeks left on my stay, and they sent me links to places in New Jersey that were over an hour away for 3 days, not 2 weeks, for 3 days. And I was like, I very quickly, I realized that I'm not getting any help on support. I'm basically on my own. And I told them that. I even in the chats, which they have actually deleted, all of them. I saved all of them. I have screenshots of everything. And I remember I said, I am walking into harm's way. Something is going to happen. I just received a death threat. She knows my last name. She knows where I stand politically. And sure enough, as soon as I got into the place, I was punched close fist. And I was in shock as soon as that happened. This was around 12 in the morning. And mind you, minutes before, I'm eating with Airbnb. I was like, please, I have screenshots of all this. I created a website called airbnbjustice.com. And you can hear, I don't think we can play it on this. Some of the most horrifying audio, you will hear this lady. She is a lunatic. She is utterly insane. And that was when I learned that Airbnb does not require background checks. And that was what really opened my eyes for hosts or guests. And in fact, I even put it on the website. I literally copied and pasted on their website onto the Airbnb Justice website their exact wording, which that was a surprise to me because I used to love Airbnb. 10 years ago, I never had a problem once. So I barricaded myself in the room because it was around 12:30. And so I was like, well, all my stuff is here. Where am I going to go? If with hotels, you could book a hotel, but more often than not, they're not going to accept you because if it's past 12, they said, well, you can't check until 3 p.m. So basically I literally barricaded myself in the room, and I was on the phone and the chat support with Airbnb, and nothing was happening. And I said, well, let me just, early in the morning, just try to get out of there and take care of this. And then that was when I recorded the audio. And this is a very bizarre incident. I quickly showered. I knew this was probably going to be a long day. And I kid you not, I get out of the shower and she's standing there. I had a robe on. She's standing there with a demonic look on her face. And I was like, oh, okay, this is not good. And fortunately, I had my phone with me, and that's where I recorded the audio. And you can hear her just going, just utterly insane. She'd also entered my room, which is against the law.
Sure.
More than once, which she admitted to. She put my stuff in the fridge. You can't make this stuff up.
So, Matthew, when you booked this room, I mean, you've made it clear that they asked you, they kind of tried to identify your last name. It looked like they were trying to research you. What do you think? Do they politically profile this Airbnb or these particular hosts? Do they politically profile everybody who books a room with them? Why would they have thought, I need to check out if this guy is on the right side of the aisle?
So that's a good question. So I think it's something that she herself, the host, well, her host name was Ronnie. That's not her real name. It's Mary. And, as soon as the son made that remark, I knew I could sense a shift. I was like, I don't like the way he asked that question because it was very slanted. And then sure enough, as soon as she got back, which I believe was just a day later, that's when this started. And
did they say anything to you that was about, did they mention Trump? Did they mention your political views? Did they ever kind of out or tip their hand to you?
There were a few times, yes, where she made, political references that I don't have on audio, unfortunately. But she made many remarks about, oh, why don't you just shut the, F up and go to your fancy gym. And you can just stay there and put all your belongings there. And I'm like, no. And so it was at that point when if you hear the audio, I don't even like to listen to it. It brings back a lot of trauma. When you hear it, that was when I had said, okay, well, I have really no choice. I have to call the police now. It was early in the morning. I couldn't really do anything over the night. And it was like SWAT showed up. They were there in less than 120 seconds. And that indicates to me that this is not their first time being called to that property. I mean, they were literally there in less than 120 seconds. She was arrested on the spot.
Have you heard, in telling your story, have you heard other people reference, hosts that are politically profiling their guests when they stay at Airbnbs? Is there a commonality to this?
So I have found, I don't know per se, I found a few that are politically motivated, it seems like. I have done quite a bit of research on this. I mean, almost an unhealthy amount. And I had posted a TikTok on this. A friend of mine told me, he said, post that audio. And it has around 60,000 views or so and thousands and thousands of comments. And that's what really started to open my eyes. So this is not a one-off. This has happened to literally tens of thousands of people that I was reading from the comment section. And, I had no idea that that type of stuff was allowed. And all the stories that I have read, they range. Some were, I don't want to get, too specific because I don't think I can say them on air. Essay related, even worse. I was punched in the face and basically defending myself in a barricaded room. And even post arrest, still nothing was done. I had to pay out of pocket for hotels. And I know the city. I'm from New York. I was born in Westchester. I grew up in Westchester. And I said, if I didn't know the city, I'd have no idea where to go. And God forbid, if I didn't have the means, I'd be on the streets.
Yeah.
I'd literally be on the streets.
Yeah, if you don't know how to navigate, it's an incredible city to navigate even as a tourist when you've planned things out for months and months and months in advance. But if you were in that position and you didn't know, that would be incredibly trying for sure. So you want this story to get out. Obviously, we're speaking with Matthew Albertell right now. You've mentioned a website. Are you taking recourse against these particular hosts or Airbnb as a whole? What is your plan of action?
So my lawyer, we have filed a lawsuit. I believe it's 23 pages. They dismissed it. And, we're going to fight it. But something that occurred to me that I thought was extremely interesting and eye-opening is the amount of people through that comment thread. And they even sent me like legal docket numbers. There are tens of thousands of incidents like this. And then I realized what's going on. Hosts are essentially God. They know that if something goes wrong, it's good luck with support in India. I mean, I was on my own and I knew the city. I'm not easily intimidated. God, I mean, if you are someone, if this is someone else, I could see this going south in 1,000 different ways.
Yeah. What was the reason given for the dismissal to not take up your case?
Oh, it was, they said they wanted to, they said maybe they'll cover, medical expenses. And I said, that was basically, that was their response. And, you might find this interesting. Ron Klain is actually their legal counsel, who was the chief of staff under Biden. So
for Airbnb?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty interesting.
Well, Matthew Albertell, what was the website again?
It's airbnbjustice.com, and that's where you can hear a lot of the audio. There are some things I simply cannot say on air. I've been instructed by my lawyers, but I am outraged this happened to me. And what really triggered me is people need to know about this. This is not okay. This is not okay at all. I felt like, I deliberately used my middle name to avoid something like this that might be politically motivated. And frankly, if I had to guess, I don't know, it might be. I don't know, I can't prove it. But I have seen threads online where certain instances have. And they even have on their own website, people, talking about absolute horror stories, and nothing seems to ever be done at all. And I think it's really because they're like, well, good luck fighting us. Unless you have evidence, which I do, or audio, or, I have, again, they deleted 22 of the 25 open chats. I have over 20 hours of me speaking with them, trying for someone to finally do the right thing. And ironically, what actually got their attention to do the right thing and to put me in a place was I started taking screenshots of the TikTok. And I just kept posting it because at that point I gave up with the chat. And I just started posting it time after time. The count just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, like clockwork, all of a sudden, they did what I had asked them to do prior, when I gave them warning and I was, she threatened to kill me. They finally did what they should have done, but the damage was already done. I may have a broken nose and I have to go back to the doctor and see what's going on there. But it was a traumatizing incident, and I do believe that unfortunately it may have been maybe a little politically motivated.
Well, Matthew, we appreciate you telling your story here, and I want people to check out that website so they can learn more about it. And also, if this is something that is happening with some sort of frequency, if your story triggers other people to feel comfortable telling their stories, certainly you're giving people the platform to do that. So one more time with that website before we let you go.
Sure, it's airbnbjustice.com. I even made it interactive where, you could upload, basically incidents and everything that happened. I'm going to be adding a lot to it because I found literally over 10,000 comments of horror stories and Airbnb asleep at the wheel, not doing anything. But it's not so much about that. I don't want that to ever happen to anyone, ever. And I can't imagine how many people it has happened to. And so bringing awareness to this is not okay. This should never happen. It's unfortunate that it did, but if it takes me getting punched in the face for the right thing to be done, I'll go. Punch me again. With what's going on in the political and economic climate, I think people are finally. I heard. I was listening to you before. I was here. I think people are drawing a line in the sand, which is actually really refreshing to see. It's really refreshing to see in ways that I've never felt that. I haven't felt that in over a decade. People are taking a stand for what's right, and they're fighting it, and they're not backing down. And they said, you know what, we've had enough.
Well,
And
Matthew,
ironically, I think they're kind of tied together.
yeah, I think this is a moment in time. I think you're absolutely right about that. And people can check out that website, and you can let us know what kind of development you have on this if the story spurs some more interest. Matthew Albertell, thank you for telling your story with us today. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You as well. Bye-bye. Matthew Albertell, that's you can learn about his story. He believes he was profiled for his political beliefs. How much does this happen on a regular basis? I'm going to tell you that when I throw my name out there, if I'm going somewhere, a lot of times I'm a little worried about. I just assume people are going to see my name, and if they do, first of all, I don't assume people know who I am, but if they do know who I am, that can always kind of carry a burden with it. Sometimes people are really excited to meet me. Sometimes people are really the opposite. It is what it is. But I think we need to live in a world where people can have differing opinions. People can take political stances, even publicly, political stances that are respectful. If you're associated with a political party, if something that you do or you work in is associated with a political leaning, in this country, that has to be okay. We can't be living in a culture that forces somebody to keep their mouth shut because they're afraid to speak up, to speak out, or even just to exist adjacent to some sort of political ideology, a religious ideology. If you're a peace-loving person, if you have a difference of opinion from someone, that should not repel you from being able to participate in civil discourse, or even to just, if Matthew's story, the way he's telling it, bears true, you can't even rent an Airbnb without being profiled. I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like that, but we got to get back to a place, especially now, in the moment that we're in our timeline. We have to be in a place where we can individually believe the things that we believe in a nonviolent way, obviously, speak about it, and not have to feel unsafe because of it. I've had several people reach out to me since Charlie Kirk was assassinated last week, and they wonder how I'm doing. And I think everybody who's publicly conservative has wondered, like, gosh, I wonder if I'm too publicly conservative. I've thought that thought. I don't have a choice. I'm not going to be quiet. I do think I do think the choice we have is how to be publicly conservative, and I think there's a positive way to be boldly outspoken about your beliefs and to still remember that kindness is an appropriate reaction. The YouTube live chat poll is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech, yes or no? We want to know what you think. You can leave the vote on the YouTube live chat poll. You can also leave a comment if you so choose. Colonel said probably the network was looking for an excuse to dump him. I believe that's probably very accurate. Chris said, I say no. Private company, their rules. Helen said, when you are employed, you have guidelines. This is not an attack on free speech, as he remarked while on company time. And John said, I voted no in the poll. Here's why. Kimmel is an employee of a company. At any time, a company can fire an employee. It's no secret his ratings were horrible. The network is taking this opportunity. Let us know if you agree with that. And a lot of people coming in here and saying no. Maybe a few of you saying, yes, you think it is an attack on free speech. We wanted to give you the opportunity to have that discussion here. Share your free speech with us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. All right, I said this a little bit earlier, but Ryan's Thursday birthday week gift is next level, and we're going to give it to him in the 2 o'clock hour. I don't know when. When should I do that? The 2:18 segment is Ethan Sports and Local. It's Thursday. Is any area okay happening today? It's not on the sheet. So maybe in the 2 o'clock, maybe in the next segment. Big birthday gift for the big birthday boy. Next.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
Well, I've got a lot of messages about Stewie. Ironically, right after he was in studio with us, many of you were saying, what was his phone number again? So I've been replying to emails here to a few people who were, I guess, probably touched by what he was saying in here, but also maybe, I don't know, these particular people, if this is why rates have gone down here recently. The Fed lowered rates by 25 basis points, and then Stewie was saying that the mortgage rates actually ticked up just a hair for a second. That'll probably adjust shortly. Regardless, the one thing that I was just talking to Stewie about at the beginning of the 1 o'clock hour is I want to talk to you folks out there who have financial struggles. Is there something that maybe it's medical debt, maybe it's student loans that you just can't get ahead of, credit card debt that in this incredibly expensive time that we're living in has just gotten out of control. Stewie can help you. Stop pretending the problem doesn't exist. Start getting a plan. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care, helping you with preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly. It's all through Medicaid, and as a St. Louis resident, it's 100% free to you. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 7,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. If you live in the St. Louis area, this service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-697-4912. 314-697-4912. That's 314-697-4912.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
She'll take the mantle. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, becomes the new chair and CEO at his organization, Turning Point USA, unanimously elected by the board today.
I can tell you this, having spent the last 11 years, hour by hour with Charlie Kirk, this is what he wanted. He wanted Erica to lead from the front. He had said it many times.
Turning Point Action executive Tyler Bowyer also telling Fox they're still getting thousands of applications to open new chapters at colleges and high schools. This as Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accuses the Trump administration of trying to snuff out free speech after ABC's suspension of the Jimmy Kimmel show.
The Trump administration is perversely using this awful death as a predicate to supercharge their long-standing campaign against political opponents. How low can they go?
President Trump says Kimmel's suspension is over lack of talent, but Schumer and other Democrats are calling for the ouster of the FCC chair, who had criticized Kimmel's MAGA-related comments about Kirk's killing and had suggested a possible misinformation allegation against ABC parent company Disney, which has upcoming business before the FCC. ABC's decision came after Nexstar Communications Group said it would pull the show after affiliate stations complained. The American Civil Liberties Union also accusing the president of attacking First Amendment rights after he designated Antifa as a terrorist organization and called for a probe of the group's funding.
Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can think of?
There are other groups, yeah, there are other groups. We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder.
The group's been blamed for violent protests around the country.
Critics, though, say there is no central Antifa organization office or headquarters. It doesn't have a leader or even a list of members to punish. Experts say that makes enforcing a terrorist designation difficult.
Fox's Eric Shawn, the president's comments coming as he and the First Lady begin the trip home from a state visit in the UK. America's listening to Fox News.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call Cordell & Cordell today because your business is more than a job, it's your legacy.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
This should be our last really hot day of this stretch. Partly to mostly sunny skies. It's hot, but the humidity levels are still bearable. 95, 68 tonight, partly cloudy. Friday, partly sunny. Couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms around, but they look quite limited. I think we got a lot of dry time on Friday, 85. The weekend, partly sunny, mid to upper 80s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, you know what else it is? It's Ryan's birthday week, but I'm not giving you your gift yet.
Oh, that's a shame because I love gifts.
I know you do.
And now.
Ryan's like, as soon as the first person says September every year, he starts going, so about my birthday.
Yeah, I start singing the song September by Earth, Wind, and Fire, and then everybody knows, oh, great, he's prepping us.
Well, I'm going to give you your gift in this segment, but not yet. And only if you're well-behaved.
That is the way to get me to behave, and I will.
Again,
He's a golden
you're
retriever.
elevating the show like you've never done before.
You're right.
Gosh, you could see the attitude change on his face right there. There was a shift. A seismic shift. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think you analyzed it correctly.
Before we do that, the YouTube live chat poll is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension and attack on free speech. Let's hear a little bit more from the chairman of the FCC.
Yeah, I mean, you can't avoid ratings. At the end of the day, the market is going to be undefeated. And a lot of these corporations, Disney and Comcast, they have been protecting and, frankly, subsidizing this content. Again, once President Trump smashed that facade, he gave a permission structure to local broadcasters to finally stand up. And when you're losing money, in the case of Colbert, reportedly $50 million, that's only going to go so far. And the same thing with Kimmel. They're now facing the consequences of the choices that they made to appeal to a very, very narrow audience. Again, you can do that. You can start a podcast. You can go on YouTube. But if you're going to have a license from the FCC, we expect you to broadly serve the public interest.
So there's FCC Chairman Carr talking about the expectations that come along with an FCC license. Has Jimmy? I'm looking him up right now on Twitter. Has he made a statement?
Oh, I haven't seen anything. I don't know that he has.
His Twitter, which he hasn't put anything on Twitter since November 15th, 2024.
Oh.
Which coincides with some sort of important event. I can't remember what. Oh, it was Trump's one. Jimmy Kimmel Live is still on Twitter. 1.9 million followers. That's about how many viewers they have in a year. The official Twitter for Jimmy Kimmel Live on ABC. We have fun. That's what it literally says.
Oh, neat.
And that last post was January 8th of 2024. So I guess I'd have to go to Blue Sky or something to find out, and I'm not doing that. If Jimmy Kimmel wanted to make a statement of some kind and wanted to be heard on this, he certainly could.
Every station in the country would play it.
You're suspecting that the reason why the Jimmy Kimmel removal from the air is an indefinite suspension and not a firing is because of contracts.
That would be my guess. Because
that's a
you
good
can't
guess.
just come out and say, you're fired, because then they go, we have a contract. So you go, okay, then you're suspended forever.
Which equals the amount of time left in your contract.
Probably.
Tucker.
What about him?
Were people freaking out when Tucker Carlson was taken off of Fox News? He served out his contract. He was paid by Fox for the remainder of his contract.
Yeah, that's probably what this will look like.
And I have a feeling that Tucker Carlson was removed from Fox News because somebody at Fox News didn't like what he was saying. Be curious to know which thing it was about it.
Yeah, we don't know.
No, we don't. Again, contracts and NDAs, and we're going to pay. Like I have a contract. I don't know what I'm all allowed to say here, but if one day they come to me and they say, Annie, you're done, we're moving on, the chances of me getting paid out through the remainder of my contract, or at least with a, I think, respectable severance, I would get that unless I was fired for cause. But in exchange for the severance, you often have to keep your mouth shut. You can speak, that's fine. Go ahead and say whatever you want, but you're done receiving any money from this company.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what's going on right now. Is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech, Ryan? Yes or no?
I'll say this. If the affiliates, because it's both Sinclair and Nexstar, if those, and they're groups of affiliates, they're pretty big. They have a lot of power.
Who?
What's
Who
that?
did you say they were?
Nexstar and Sinclair.
Oh, I didn't think you said Sinclair.
Those two groups have a lot of stations. And when they
Do we know what St. Louis's is?
Yes, Sinclair.
It is a Sinclair station.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When they both decide we're going to do something about this after a statement. So it's not just like you mentioned Tucker. We weren't really sure because it wasn't like he had a show one night and everybody goes, oh my gosh, did you see last night? This was something that probably had happened.
He just did a Tucker show.
Yeah, and then it was over and you go, what happened? With this, there was a moment. There was a statement. We played it on the show yesterday. Lots of people saw it and heard it, and people reacted to it. So there is cause. I think there's a little bit more cause. People know what's going on. If it wasn't for the affiliates doing that, though, if it was just government pressure, I would say yes, that this is a attack on free speech. But I don't see that in this instance. This looks like a market move, and maybe the FCC chair saying something would add one straw to the camel's back, but it's not. That's not the reason for it. I'll also say this really quick. If you really want to censor speech right now, which is the left's claim, like this is a censorship of speech, this is anti-First Amendment. First of all, if it's a private entity, it's censorship. Sure, that is censorship. It's not First Amendment. That's the government. That's the difference. If the government really wanted to censor speech here, which would be a First Amendment violation, they would go after the internet because that's where everything's going. And guess who did go after the internet? All social media companies, the Biden administration. Mm-hmm. That was a real, credible threat to the First Amendment that they did that. This is not.
Was Jimmy Kimmel removed for his political beliefs?
Yeah, somewhat, because he made very inflammatory, like super far left statements that aren't true.
But that's the part, isn't it?
That
they're
not
not
true.
It's
The
not.
slander.
It's not his. My opinion is it's not his political beliefs. You know why? Because he's been spewing those all over his show for this entire time.
I mean, that's a good point.
He came out and he lied. He intentionally spoke to his audience in an effort to deceive them in a politically charged way, yes. But he came out and he lied through his teeth. And guess what? We have a poll. It was taken last November 2024. A majority of people in this country voted for Donald Trump. So love him or hate him, that's the reality of the situation. And Jimmy Kimmel came out and spit in the face of every single one of them and lied about it with the intent to deceive. To me, if I'm an employer, that's my problem. You're so blinded by your political beliefs that you either A, can't see what's true, or even worse, you know what's true, so you're intentionally deceiving.
There's also just no way. Now, I don't know the finances and the behind the scenes of the Kimmel Show, but I do know that the setups of these shows is very similar. And we know what was going on with Colbert. We know how many employees roughly that they had, how much money they were making, how much money they were losing. It's got to be very similar for Kimmel. It's got to be very similar for all of them, other than Gutfeld, because Gutfeld has such a small staff. So the economics at play here cannot be discarded. That is a huge part of this.
What do you think, Brad?
I don't think it's First Amendment at all. I think you guys are
Free
all
speech?
over it. No, yeah, free speech. I don't think it's a free speech issue at all. I think Jimmy Kimmel was an employee, and he gave ABC a chance to remove somebody that probably wasn't being very profitable, wasn't very entertaining, that sort of thing, from their airways, and give them an opportunity to put something back on the airways that would make them money. That's what they exist for. I mean, let's not get lost in everything. You either make money and you get to keep your job, or you don't make money.
Yeah, but Jimmy Kimmel has been a disaster for a long time. It's not been a problem for ABC for a long time.
Right, but when did companies start kind of going, I don't know, I don't want to be a part of this anymore?
Probably a year or two in. What do you mean, a part of what?
The Kimmel Show, have their name on it. When it was extremely popular to be as whatever you want to call Kimmel as Kimmel was, companies were throwing their money at him. But once that switched, and I don't know when that switched, companies probably were like, I don't know anymore. The country's different now. It's old. I don't want my name on that.
That guy from the FCC that you just played said it. He said Disney's been subsidizing this show for a long time. At some point, you can look. Having the show is probably a good look for Disney because it makes you look bigger still. Things are going great. When you cancel a major show that is public facing, people go, ooh, that's not good. I mean, that makes your stockholders upset and scared. So that's the kind of thing that they've probably been subsidizing this for some time, that they finally said, okay, enough's enough.
To change the subject here, Russell said Annie's birthday gift to Ryan, tickets to the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Whoops.
Oh, great.
Hey, Ethan, come here. I want to see Ethan before we shift into sports and local. It's your birthday week. Now, Tuesday was your birthday, and I had gifts for you, and I left them at home. I forgot them in the midst of a lot of craziness. So I said, okay, fine, we're going to drag this out and make it a birthday week, which truly is a birthday gift in itself because there's nothing you like more than attention.
Well, I would disagree with you, but my gift's on the line, so.
So I would like to present to you your Thursday gift.
Oh my gosh,
would you
it's
like
big
to...
and it's in the shot here if you want to see me unveil this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, let's I'm going to put you here.
Okay, it's under a blanket.
And you got to kind of talk us through this here.
Okay. As I lift the curtain on my Thursday gift,
yes.
Looking forward to Friday.
Yes. Like I said, they're going to get worse and worse.
Oh, my
day.
God.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
That is amazing.
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Can you tell me what you're looking at for the people who are only...
These are very inside jokes.
Can you turn it a little bit, Ethan, so that it's not reflecting?
Okay, so
we'll take a picture of this with Ryan and we'll post it on our Annie Fry Show Facebook page too.
So at one point on the show, I made up a brand called Johnny Donkins.
I don't even know what the story is.
I don't remember what it was about.
Cologne.
Yeah, that's a cologne ad.
Oh yeah, it was Johnny Donkins and the Funky Bunches cologne.
It says cologne on the bottom.
And so now there is a real picture, it framed, of me. I'm assuming with AI, this is like an old West.
I drew that.
You drew that?
Yes, with my hands.
It's old West
I actually
style.
drew it with my feet.
I think I've got a pistol and
you're not practicing very good trigger finger on that. I almost asked the AI to correct it, and I'm like, no, it'll screw up the whole thing.
It says, Johnny Duncan, excessively masculine. Johnny Duncan cologne. Oh my gosh, you guys are not going to believe this.
Do you love it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. That is going up somewhere prominent in probably my office. But I'm going to have to tease this for the end of the show because I got to go get it. Today, I stumbled across an ad that we made for Johnny Donkins.
A commercial?
A commercial that we never aired.
So we can play it today?
We can play it today at 2:50.
2:50. The last thing
I'm going to go get it. Yes.
Yeah, and I'll take a picture of you holding your Johnny
I can't
Duncan
believe
ad.
I stumbled across that today because this was over a year ago we made this, and we just never had a reason to play it, and so we never did.
Can I tell you that while I was sitting at home I wasn't by myself, but it feels like I'm by myself because everything happening around me in the frenetic nature of my home at night, I was making this thing, and I was laughing out loud
It's awesome.
to myself as I was doing it. Wait until you see the AI prompt that I typed to get this ad.
Oh my god.
You're gonna love it.
No, that is genuinely one of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten.
Thank you. I told you.
It's really cool.
I sent a message last night, and I said this might be one of the coolest
How
things
did you
I've ever
get
done.
this done so fast if you just came up with this last night?
Ryan, I'm good.
Apparently.
I'm
Ryan,
very good.
Immediate reaction to this. Where are you going to put this?
Either in my office. There's two different photos of me in this.
Your face is on there twice.
I see that now.
I thought that was ridiculous, and then I'm like, no, that's perfect. That's the cologne bottle.
The cologne bottle. The top one looks exactly like me.
You can't deny it.
No.
I'm going to also say, Ryan, and it pains me to give you to stroke the ego a little bit, but that face on the main guy is a little chubbier than your actual face.
It is a little, yeah.
So
and a little bit rounder face in that one.
Your face is a little thinner than that, but again, you
Gives
can
you a
only
little leeway.
You can only direct the AI so much before you let the whole thing fall apart. I was like, this is too perfect.
That's great.
All right, let's take a quick break. Ethan, Sports and Local next. We'll take a photo of the Johnny Duncan excessively masculine cologne ad that is now in the possession of the birthday boy, Ryan Wiggins. I am really proud of this. I thought it turned out great. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Act like tomorrow's 10 years away. And just kick back and let the feeling flow. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke. Yeah. I set my sails for a new direction, but don't win.
The Dittamore Group with Tammy and her team, Zach, Pat, Abby, and Trisha. Oh, you've got a good team working hard for you to list your home for top dollar sale. Everybody's talking about mortgage rates and everything. What's going to happen next? You want to surround yourself with a team of experts so that you can follow their guidance. Don't do the stuff for yourself that you don't really know what you're doing. You're taking a stab in the dark, and at the end of the day, you've spent more money on something you didn't need to, and you're not going to get top dollar. You got to go with the Dittamore Group. Plus, they're really fun people. I think it matters. 618-531-4652. That's the number to reach directly. They are in Illinois and Missouri, and they have extensive knowledge of the markets that they're working in. So when you call 618-531-4652, you're going to get an expert that's going to walk you through the process, whether you're at the very beginning and you don't even know if you're fully going to sell yet, or if you're like, I need to get this thing sold yesterday. The Dittamore Group is ready to take your phone call, and they'd love to hear that Annie sent you. 618-531-4652. That's 618-531-4652. TheDittamoreGroup.com.
The Beach Boys, the Sounds of Summer Tour. This Sunday night at Chesterfield Amphitheater. The music, the memories, the Beach Boys, riding an endless summer wave. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss the Beach Boys, the Sounds of Summer Tour, live.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. And you know, your home is your sanctuary. You need to take the first step to peace of mind with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac generator dealer in the country, Generator Supercenter. We learned the hard way here in St. Louis during the tornado recently that power can be knocked out. But even outside of that, what if the power grid fails and it's 100 degrees here in St. Louis? You don't want to be that person. Get with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis today. Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. Tell them that we sent you along.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Silky.
Check it out. Sports and local.
Tuna Helper Hannaford.
That's it.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I didn't come up with these. These are all listener suggestions.
Tuna helper?
Tuna
Like
helper
the fish.
Hannaford. Yep.
Tuna.
Gross.
Yep.
I help tuna. Okay.
It's a dish.
All right.
Now you dish.
Sports and local with Ethan. What do you got?
Ryan, you got any smart aleck comments to say before I start?
I already said them.
I was trying to cut them off.
Perfect. All right. Here we go. I have exciting and good news for St. Louisans, especially for Ryan Wiggins.
Oh boy.
Abercrombie & Fitch is returning to St. Louis.
Where?
At the Plaza Frontenac Mall.
Oh.
Why is that good for me?
I don't know. You just seem like someone that would shop there.
They're hiring models.
Oh, that's cool. I hope they like ones with a little belly.
It's a throwback store.
Maybe we could work out a deal to get Johnny Donkin and the Funky Bunch clone in there.
Maybe. Yeah, that's something definitely worth looking into seriously.
As mentioned, I'm going to be opening up here at the Frontenac Mall, the Plaza Frontenac Mall.
I don't know if I've ever purchased anything from Abercrombie.
I don't know that I've actually purchased anything in the store either. I've gotten things as gifts, and anytime I do, it's always one of my favorite things I get. I just don't know that I would ever go
I just
buy
remember that Abercrombie had like a whole bunch of people on their walls that were models that weren't wearing really any clothes.
Mhm.
And I thought,
yep, most of them
somebody
look like
should
Ryan.
sell those people some clothes.
Maybe you were looking at a different type of ad.
Whoa.
No, it's definitely Abercrombie.
Okay.
Did you never go in an Abercrombie store?
Yeah, I did. I still do whenever I see them, which I haven't for a while because I
Do
didn't
you
know
go
they were gone.
in for the ads or for the articles?
I go in for the ads. And I stand next to them. I compare myself.
The store will be located on the mall's second floor near the Saks Fifth Avenue store. So if you don't know where that is, then
Have
you
you
are
ever
SOL.
been to Saks?
Yep, love Saks.
It's just too easy.
I love the ads.
I'm gonna start setting an over/under timer on how long it takes for my sports and local segment to go just straight into oblivion.
You should set an over/under for how many sports and local stories you actually get done.
Yeah,
We're through
sometimes
one.
it's one.
Yeah. We just kinda
Sure is.
You're into number 2 now.
After rejecting a new contract offer from Boeing last week, the union representing striking employees is set to vote on a counter proposal tomorrow. The bargaining company of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, District 837, boy, that's a tongue twister, is asking its members to approve a strike settlement with the aerospace giant. The vote will take place tomorrow from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock a.m. at, get this, the St. Louis Music Park in Maryland Heights. What a random spot for that. So that the strike could be ending soon. Hopefully for all the workers, it does end up ending and they can get back to work.
You know, the only time I really like a strike? Bowling. What's your next story?
St. Louis has
This room
been...
is really quiet without my headphones on. Which is weird.
It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
St. Louis has been in the news a little bit this week in our nation's capital, specifically when following President Trump bringing it up on multiple occasions regarding the next cities that the National Guard could potentially be going to. We know that he had recently announced that it's going to be going to the National Guard. He's going to be sending it to Memphis. I want to say did I hear New Orleans as well is still?
This seems like a bigger story than the last one.
It is.
Like that story was a strike, but you treated it like it was a spare story.
He's still doing jokes. Sometimes it's hard to tell.
Was I this outlandish
Here.
on my birthday week?
Let's just listen to Trump instead
You
of this
floated
nonsense.
potentially going into St. Louis. You mentioned you want to go into Chicago next. Could St. Louis be after Chicago?
It's going to be around there someplace. Yeah, we got to save St. Louis. Got to save these cities. This isn't like, we're going to do something. We have to save St. Louis. We have to save Chicago. I know all about Chicago. I have a great, beautiful building. I'm so proud of it. But, you get less proud when you see all the crime. When they announced 2 weeks ago, 11 people killed, this is over a weekend, I think they said 38 people shot and 11 people dead. And then you watch Pritzker get up and say, we've got crime under control. And I will say that Cash and the FBI did a good job. With a very light force, they went in, and for about 4 months, Cash or so, they've been working on keeping crime down. They have brought the numbers down a little bit.
From the Oval Office, talking about St. Louis. It's a city worth saving.
Did you see Brandon Johnson's comments yesterday?
Mm-mm.
He was fired up about how great of a job they're doing on crime and how they're doing everything possible, except bringing in the National Guard, because they won't do that. But how they're turning over every stone looking for crime, and it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Nothing is different.
What's his approval rating again?
6%.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm.
Had also mentioned that he had a conversation with Jim Vina, the CEO of Union Pacific, who has been a huge advocate of getting the National Guard to St. Louis. Of course, Union Station, everything over there. I think it's pretty telling, right? I think it's pretty telling. Moving on in even sports and local, something to do with tuna today. Blues sign forward Nathan Walker to a 2-year contract extension. Nathan Walker, the only
Sounds like a baseball player.
the only Australian.
Yes, he's
to
my
be playing
favorite.
in the National Hockey
Walker.
League.
Really?
Quick, Australian accent. Ryan, go.
No, Bobby here. We only like our kin on the Bobby.
Can you say dingo baby?
Dingo baby.
Thank you. The 2-year extension is worth $887,500 per season.
He's my
No
favorite
complaints
hockey player
there.
now.
And Nathan Walker, in the last couple of years, has actually become a fan favorite. Is not the most talented guy on the ice, but always plays with a lot of grit. And come on, he has an Australian accent, great smile, toothless as well in a couple of spots.
I like how you just
how can
said
you not like that?
They signed him to an extension. Not a real talented player.
No, that's not what I said.
But he's Australian.
I said he's not. He's playing on the fourth line. He is not known for
Which line
his...
are you playing on, Ryan?
Third. St. Louis Blues.
That's the weakest area for the Blues right
He's
now.
he's exactly the right kind of player to be on the fourth line.
Exactly.
His
Thank you.
skill set is catered toward that.
Ryan, you'll
Thank
learn.
you.
I already know about that as a player.
Am I supposed to keep going here, or are we stopping here?
It's really hard
I can't
to
believe
tell.
we've gotten through 4. This is the best it's been in weeks.
Last story, go quick.
The Fairmount Park Casino and Racing is marking its 100th anniversary with 3 days of events highlighted by the $250,000 St. Louis Derby, the richest race on Illinois' calendar. The celebration is going to be running from today, Thursday, through Saturday. The party starting with some free commemorative hats or T-shirts for card holders, slot play prize drawings. Then the St. Louis Derby will take place tomorrow at 2:30. 1 hour later than in past seasons, and the schedule also is going to be including, this is fun, kids inflatable horse races, food trucks, giveaways for the first 500 guests, And the casino will be also holding hourly cash prize drawings totaling $10,000. So a fun weekend. It looks like some celebrating 100 years at Fairmount Park.
Awesome. Real quick, Ryan, come over here and
boy.
read the ChatGPT prompt that I used to initially make your Johnny Duncan poster.
Create a 10.5 inch by 10.5 inch t-shirt design for a fake cologne named Johnny Duncan. Use old Western cowboy themes and the theme excessively masculine as the tagline. Make the design overly complicated and expensive looking. Achieved.
And then we went through a few
That's all you had to
iterations.
put it. Okay, I was going to say.
There was a few modifications along the way. But we'll post a picture of the poster ad for Johnny Duncan cologne. And we got Annie, Are You Okay? Next, so don't go away. More Annie Fry Show in a minute.
And I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to.
Infinite Vitality was on a phone call with them earlier today, just doing a checkup on the hormone replacement therapy that I've been doing and following up with the labs and making sure that the numbers in my blood work and everything are good and seeing if there's areas for improvement. And it's one of the things that I like the most about Infinite Vitality, the staff there, their knowledge and their ability to guide you to make sure that everything is fine-tuned to you. So when you go to Infinite Vitality and you talk to them about the symptoms you're feeling, the fatigue, the brain fog, the inability to fall asleep at night, even though you're just totally tired, and the frustration you have of trying to get out of bed in the morning, the mood swings that you experience, the low libido that you're dealing with, you get to this middle age and it sets in and you think this is just how it's going to be. And I'm here to tell you, it's not how it has to be. You have a choice, and it starts with a phone call to Infinite Vitality. 618-486-1888. 618-486-1888. Call Infinite Vitality and talk to them about how they can help you with weight loss, with your skin care, with your hormone balance. 618-486-1888. And don't forget to mention my name to save $50 on most services. Infinite-Vitality.com.
Hey, y'all, this is Maggie Freeling, host of the new podcast, Up and Vanish Weekly. Tune in each week as Payne Lindsay and I are joined by other true crime experts to take a fresh look at some of the most puzzling crimes and shine a spotlight on the cases that have stumped investigators for far too long. So go right now and search Up and Vanish Weekly in your podcast app to follow the show. Listen for free wherever you get your podcasts.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
If your kitchen's not even functional and you can't stand the look of your bathroom, stop just living around the problem. Let Lakeside Renovation and Design help you love your home again. From spa-like bathrooms to these beautiful, functional, custom kitchens to a finished basement, their in-house team over there at Lakeside, they're going to help bring any vision you have to life. They're going to walk you through every step of the process, the planning, the permits, all the things we don't like to do. They take care of it. You just have to dream. And they have financing options like 0 payments, 0% interest for 24 months. Schedule your free consultation today. It's lakesiderd.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar today at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
Is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech? It's the YouTube live chat poll today, and we always ask you to vote. And also, if you want to, leave a comment like Bill did. He says, yes, it is an attack on free speech. Charlie Kirk spewed racist and misogynistic vitriol for months and got away with it. Kimmel's words about Kirk were sanitized to what they could have been. They paled in comparison. All opinions are welcome here. You can share yours in the YouTube live chat when you answer the question, is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech? It is 2:37. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Belleville to Bridgeton, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
Well, it's that time for Annie, Are You Okay? The problem is that Annie, the subject of the segment
And the
is
show.
And the show, that too, that's important,
I'm
is
not
not on
hosting
mic.
this segment.
Well,
I have to answer a question.
Annie
Well-
and Ryan are gone.
Need a question.
what was happening was a picture of Ryan's latest birthday gift was being taken for all of you to see. I'm assuming on our social medias. Where can people see that, Annie?
I haven't posted it yet, but follow us on Facebook. I'll also put it up on our Twitter page, and I will also share it on the YouTube live stream. So come say hi and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Annie Fry.
Trisha?
I'm okay with that.
Hi, Annie and crew.
Hi, Trisha.
All right, here we go. That's a lovely gift, by the way.
Do you like it?
poster.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it's really great.
What was your reaction to it earlier when you saw it?
I think she put her head in her hands.
I was scared if we were going to be able to get Ryan's head out of the studio after he got a poster of himself on air.
Ryan, have you left the studio since?
No.
So we don't know the answer to that yet.
So we'll see.
Transition might be difficult.
There he goes.
It popped. And now it's flat. And now it's all flapping
That's
around.
how skulls work.
Speaking of difficult, mom goes viral for earning world record running across a track of Legos barefoot. A New Zealand mom earned the Guinness World Record for fastest 100-meter barefoot on Lego bricks back in January, but she went viral this week, racking up 9.3 million views after Guinness World Records posted the efforts on Instagram. The mother of two ran the 100 meters in 24.75 seconds. Annie, are you okay with running?
Oh, gosh. Not really.
On Legos.
Nope, just running.
No. COVID, this is how crazy COVID was.
That end your running career? COVID?
No, it started it and ended it. Honestly, I would get done with the show, wrap up everything with the show, and then I would go outside and I was doing the Couch to 5K app, and I got really good at it for me. All relative, of course, but I would just go out the front door, and if that day the Couch to 5K time was 32 minutes, I would run away from the house for 32 minutes and just try to get my best distance. So I would measure how I was doing on Couch to 5K by how far I could go, because I don't like the thought of running away and then having to time the midpoint and come back. That seems like I'm.
So what'd you do? Just run as far as you could go and then have to like walk back or call
No,
a
Jared
cab?
would come get me.
That's awesome.
They wanted to get out of the house too. It was like an escape, and
Doing
they
them
would
all a
have to come
favor.
try to find me. It was a game.
Every day she'd leave, and they go, "Let Mom have her half hour."
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll find her later.
We'll go find her.
Here she goes.
I needed it, so I would take somewhat different routes, different times, and I would always kind of end up in the same place about ish. But it was a challenge to me to know like I got to get farther this time,
Sure.
and so I would
That's a good
push
app.
myself. And then, I mean, it was 30 minutes away running, so it was a 5-minute drive for them to come pick me up, and it was an exciting adventure in the middle of
Kids, she went off course today. We got to go off road.
They would follow a
in a
flat
field
path,
again.
a flat path, and about 30 minutes away, so they knew whereabouts-ish that I would be, and I mean,
I think I'm behind a Casey's, but I don't know.
They all look the
Okay,
same around here.
yeah, it was. I miss doing that. I mean, you want to talk about it being like a super complicated time, but then a also simultaneously super simplified time.
I ran so much during COVID.
Yeah.
Missed those days. We could just.
I
do
did not
nothing.
run. I do not like running.
I don't like running. If I could change two
Terrible.
things about myself, I would make myself a morning person who loves to run, and those two things together would solve so many of my problems.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
That'd be
I know
great.
that that's my choice, that I could do both of those things, but I hate them both, so I don't.
Mornings and
Yeah, pretty much. If I'm running, that means I'm being chased. You should run too.
Man in scuba gear robs Disney Springs restaurant by swimming up after midnight. Authorities in Florida say a man wearing scuba gear pulled off a late-night robbery at the Paddlefish restaurant in Disney Springs. Investigators say the suspect swam up to the restaurant after midnight, entered a manager's office where cash was being counted, and forced employees to hand over the money. The man then tied up two workers and escaped back into the water.
I know exactly where this took place.
Officials estimate between $10,000 and $20,000 was taken. No injuries were reported. It seems like this guy is still on the loose.
How much was his scuba gear? Probably in the 30s.
We don't know because we haven't found him.
He's coming back.
He's just breaking even.
He's still in the negative.
I did it for the experience.
They released a photo of him wearing just like
Scuba gear.
Wetsuit.
Yeah, he's just covered in
It's an
black
artist rendering.
Yeah,
It's like if you see this man on the streets.
exactly
It's one of those old, like, early 1900s ones with a tube attached to the top of it.
Return him to water as soon as possible.
Wanted. Annie, are you okay with scuba diving?
No, that's not for me.
Okay.
We were in Hawaii this summer, and my mom and my brother went scuba diving. He had gone before. My mom had never done it before. And Jared and Charlie thought he wanted to do scuba, but I hope I wasn't a bad mom here. But that kid, like, things sound really great, and then you get there, and you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I told Jared, I was like, there's no way that he's actually going to be like, I would like to dive 30 feet down into that water right there. Not possible. And I knew that he would get really nervous about it, and I didn't want him to get nervous because he has no framework. None. Like, we go to the ocean, and he's like, I don't really need to get into that. Like, when on the beach. So scuba, that's a lot, kiddo. But he did want to. So I was like, what if, and I talked to him about it. I was like, what if we sign up for snorkeling, and if you go out there and you're like, Mom, I want to scuba, and you're like out there and you want to make that change, then we'll talk about it then. And so that's what we did. And he was initially like, he had a lot of anxiety about the snorkel thing, but he did go and he did do it, and he was so glad that he did it. I don't know if he would scuba now. Like, there was not a point where he was like, I really regret not scuba.
Isn't it a process to be able to scuba? Like, don't
It's
you have
supposed to be.
get your certification
Yes.
and all that?
Yes. And they did, like, my mom did the certification like there, and then they did it. She had a lot of anxiety about it, but she still did it. But like, my brother had trained about it maybe in, I don't know, Mexico or somewhere in Central America, but that is not for me. And I know, like, it was very hard as a mom to, like, know my son, but not hold him back from an experience that might be a once in a lifetime experience. So the snorkel was kind of the middle ground. You're going to be out in the middle of the ocean doing this thing, and and we did it somewhat early. You can't do it immediately, like within 48 hours of flying. Maybe you have to wait a certain amount of time before you scuba. So we did it more towards the beginning of a 10-day trip, and Jared and I said privately, like, if he's like dying to do the scuba thing, maybe we'll go back. And he was not. But the snorkel thing, he said, like, they swam with gigantic turtles, like the turtles that are 5 feet in.
Snorkeling in Hawaii was one of the coolest things that I've ever done.
So he was really glad to do the experience, but I would never. I couldn't do that. When I flew with the F-18 Super Hornets, that was the wildest, craziest thing I'll probably ever do in my life. I have no idea how I did it, but I just kind of let go and let God in that instance. But those type of risky things, I am such a straight-laced, play it safe, plan 7 steps ahead person. So just jumping into the open water. There are way too many things I've already imagined going wrong that I'm good. I do not need to.
One thing I didn't imagine going wrong was when I opened a scuba hut in Pontoon Beach. I did not realize there was no water.
There's water. Why does he get the sound? It's inflaming. It's a problem.
Tooth implanted into eye lets blind man see again.
Stop.
A 34-year-old man, this is a real thing. A 34-year-old man from Canada recently underwent a procedure where his own tooth was implanted into his eye to restore
lightheaded.
Vision. Apparently, a tooth serves as a uniquely durable frame for the lens of an eye that can help patients see.
That sounds like a witch doctor.
If other types of material are used, the implant might be rejected by the body. But when someone's own tooth is used, the immune system is less likely to treat it as a threat. So this guy had his molar removed, then it was put into his eye. After surgery, he woke up with almost instantly improved vision.
Wow. What do you mean you put it into his eye?
And they use it, they carve it down, cut a hole into it, and use it as the lens of an eye.
It's just wait until he gets a cavity.
There's a big, long word for it.
He has one. That's how he's seeing through it.
It's tooth in eye surgery. This is a real thing.
The witch doctor looked at this guy and goes, "Oh, I know how to fix you. Come over here to my chair.
Saw your tooth
I'll pull out your tooth. It'll increase your libido."
It'll only cost you a molar.
He's like, "I'm trying to see." She's like, "Oh, it'll do that too."
What's wrong with you?
Annie, are you okay with going to the dentist?
Don't love it. It's necessary.
What about this kind of dentist?
No. There are a few things that are creepier to me than the stories about teeth growing inside people's bodies. That type of stuff is gnarly,
you find
disgusting.
out there's like
to me.
another twin that you were born with, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, there's a head in my shoulder." It's got teeth.
I have these visions at night.
Yeah,
they
I
could
feed
be
it
in
hot
your
dogs.
shoulder. Somebody chewing on my...
I wake up in the middle of the night and I see things.
Do you ever see those like animals, like maybe fish or something that have like teeth that resemble human teeth?
Yeah, they're sheephead fish. Yeah.
Oh no! Like,
Yeah,
and
the old
this is
sheephead fish.
this is the type of thing. Like, if you
Tastes
saw
really
a
good.
picture of that right now, you'd be like, "That's AI," and you're like, "No, it's not. God made that. Why?" No.
I don't know if God made that.
Who did? The witch doctor?
One of the demons.
Again. What is this segment called? What is this show called?
Johnny Donkin's 2:00 hour.
The show's almost over. He's going to be dropping Are You Okay, Annie when Ryan Wiggins walks into Mark Reardon's show.
Little teaser, we got a Johnny Donkin's ad that was never run before coming up next.
We are going to take a break. You want to take us home, or did you just
No,
do
you're
that?
fine. Go
All
ahead.
right. No, we do have to take a break if you want to play that still in the show.
I do.
Trisha, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Kissing anybody could be bad to you. You need a good guy to blow your mind. Yeah. Bang into the room.
The Diamond Shop, right now, September is a great month if you're looking to shop for sapphires. The Diamond Shop in Clayton has what you're looking for, 40% off all in-stock sapphire jewelry at the Diamond Shop in Clayton. If you want to shop a little bit online, if you want to learn a little bit more about the Diamond Shop before you make the trek to Clayton, you can go to thediamondshop.net. They also have 30% off all in-stock jewelry as well. You will be treated with respect, kindness, and dignity when you walk into the Diamond Shop, because they're not just trying to sell you something. They're trying to create a relationship with you that is going to last the test of time, to make that partnership as a place that is going to provide you fine jewelry with the maintenance that you need with any particular piece of jewelry. If you need to bring in gold to have it appraised, or a piece of jewelry to have it appraised, have something fixed, all of these types of things, when you have a jeweler that knows what they're doing and wants to build that relationship with you, you've got something really special. You can go online and become a VIP, find everything you need to know at thediamondshop.net.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Now that you've heard it, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed early bird specials $49.99. That's right, weight loss seminar, Saturday, October 18th at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration at 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com. When it comes to roofing, you can't go wrong with Corel Roofing. Mark Cox here. My friend Curtis Corel came out, looked at my roof, worked with my insurance adjuster. I got a new roof, new gutters, and even new screens on some of my windows. Curtis specializes in working with insurance companies. Even if you've been denied, he's often able to work with these insurance adjusters to find a way to get it covered. Here's something else Curtis tells me. With cooler weather coming, you need to be aware of something. Roofs cannot be installed if the temperature dips below 45 degrees. Some companies go ahead and do this anyway, but you're going to have problems down the road. So if you're concerned that your roof won't make it through the winter, call Curtis Corel today. Corel Roofing has crews with over 20 years of experience. They pay attention to detail, and they can work with all the luxury line roofing as well. Call Curtis at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Or on Facebook at Corel Roofing Co.
Now, back to the Annie Fry Show. Real talk for real people. 97.1 FM Talk.
Do you have the time? The Johnny Donkin poster, the cologne, Johnny Donkin cologne, is an inside joke from this show that's so inside, I don't remember where it came from. But Johnny Donkin cologne, excessively masculine. I've created an ad for it, framed it for Ryan's birthday week. You have created an actual commercial radio ad. We're going to listen to that now.
Yes, here we go.
You're a man. You make things happen. You need to make love happen without all the BS. That's why there's Pheromans, the patch that not only releases your natural pheromones, but also adds 150,000% more. Simply remove a Pheroman patch from its drip-free container, apply, and watch women come to you begging, pleading with you. Listen to these satisfied customers.
It has 150,000% more pheromones. And I tried it too.
Pheromans by Johnny Donkin. 97.1% natural pheromones of real men in heat. Distilled, bottled, patched. Pheroman. Because you don't have time for crap. You want to do it now.
So that's where it started, the Pheroman.
Pheroman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean someone said pheromones wrong?
It was Ryan.
You said pheromones wrong. It turned into pheromones, and here we are.
Is that what it was? So that's the cleaned up version. There's a little bit dirtier version of that I worked on today.
You worked on it
I was
today.
like, hey, we need to clean that up if it's ever going to see air. And it just so happens that it did.
Wow.
This is our job.
This is your job. This is not our job. My job is to counter that with sensibility and Christian behavior.
I know. I kind of felt bad. I felt bad.
No, you
That's
didn't.
the cleaned up
No, you
version, I
didn't.
promise.
You
though.
were so
Stop it.
excited.
It was funny, though.
Ethan, the YouTube live chat poll.
357 votes. Good job, voters. We
How'd you
appreciate
feel?
every single one of you. Is Jimmy Kimmel's indefinite suspension an attack on free speech? It's a close one today, guys. 84% say no, it is not. 16% say yes.
All right, maybe we'll make an actual TV commercial now for Johnny Donkin since we have the audio and the visuals. My goodness. Thank you for being here with us. Don't go away. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative has Mark Reardon coming up next.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you are still healthy and can qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. That is the place to call to solve the uneven, the sunken concrete at your home or your business. Your business is definitely going to be a liability you're going to want to correct. But obviously, if you have a trip hazard at home, it's probably super annoying for you. And then, of course, if you have anybody else over to your home, you don't want anybody tripping, falling, breaking a hip, so on and so forth. I want you to also think about mom and dad's house that you probably help take care of right now. If there is a concrete sidewalk patio situation where they're out there, they're taking care of their backyard, but if they tripped over that, that'd be a really big problem. Use the system called polyjacking with Home Shield Foundation Repair, where they take a polyurethane foam, inject it under the concrete, raise it up. Comes with a 5-year warranty as well, and that safety hazard is no more. Reach out to Matt Hayes at 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. Tell him Annie sent you and get that liability taken care of right away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire